Hello, this is AG, and I wanted to invite you to join our MSW book club this week. Starting next Monday, we will begin reviewing A Higher Loyalty by James Comey. Tickets to Comey's book signings are going for $1,200, but you can listen to us talk about it for $1. You'll also receive our weekly newsletter, ad-free episodes, and access to the minisodes, including the entire archive. And, for a limited time only, if you sign up at the $10 level, I'll send you a bag of loose-leaf polonium tea created exclusively for Mueller, She Wrote listeners by our friends at Joy's Teaspoon. This signature Earl Grey has been generously blended just for Muellerites. It's a female-owned company, and all their tea is sourced from socially responsible growers and blenders. What I love is they like to share the story of their tea and the rich cultures that they come from. For example, our limited edition polonium tea is an Earl Grey, steeped in British MI6 history, perfect for dossier writing. But watch out for the polonium. And we only have 50 of these for new patrons that pledge at the $10 level. So head over to MuellerSheWrote.com and subscribe now before they're gone. And we'll see you next Monday for the MSW Book Club. This podcast may contain laughter.
So to be clear, Mr. Trump has no financial relationships with any Russian oligarchs.
That's what he said. That's what I said. That's obviously what our position is.
I'm not aware of any of those activities. I have been called a surrogate at a time or two in that campaign, and I did not have communications with the Russians.
What do I have to get involved with Putin for? I have nothing to do with Putin. I've never spoken to him. I don't know anything about him other than he will respect me. Russia, if you're listening, I hope you're able to find the 30,000 emails that are missing.
So, it is political. You're a communist.
No, Mr. Green. Communism is just a red herring. Like all members of the oldest profession, I'm a capitalist.
Hello, welcome to Mueller, She Wrote. I'm AG, your anonymous host. I work up high in the executive branch of the federal government, and I respect the Hatch Act in the morning. So, with me, as always, is Jordan Coburn.
Hello.
And Jaleesa Johnson.
Hey.
And today, we have a very special guest. As you all know, I'm testing catchphrases, and joining us here today is the originator, the author of Put Some Beans on It, Mr. Dallas McLaughlin.
Put some beans on it.
Very good. Hi, Dallas. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm so good. I'm glad to have you here.
Thank you. If this qualifies me to talk about the investigation, then I'm happy to be along for the ride. Thank you.
It does. It absolutely does.
Yeah.
Foot in the door. Who knew? That's your new catchphrase.
Flip the door. Yeah, sorry.
All right. Holy hell, guys. This has been a week. I was in D.C. all week, and the atmosphere there is pretty tense.
Yeah, how was that?
Well, I got to visit the Pentagon, which is pretty insane right now because of everything that's going on with Syria. And I was at the White House, but not, no one important was around, just tourists. I didn't get to sit in Trump's chair or anything. So it was fine. Lots of folks have asked for a meetup when I was in D.C.
Oh, yeah.
But I had wall-to-wall meetings, and I just couldn't get it in this time. But next time, I swear. And we're getting close to 100,000 downloads, and I think we'll celebrate with maybe a San Diego meet and greet around maybe the Memorial Day timeframe.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
I think
we could do a polonium tea party.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Day barbecue.
Jordan, that's a great idea.
Fuck yeah.
That'd be great. We'll keep you posted for the polonium tea party. So this week, Jaleesa is going to talk about the $30,000 payment to a Trump doorman who knows he knows Trump has an illegitimate child. That's a really dumb term, by the way.
Illegitimate?
Yeah.
Illegitimate rape? Yeah, that word should just not be used for social issues, I'm thinking, at this point. It's just a little...
You're a legitimate person.
You are, yeah. You've just been really screwed.
I don't understand.
By your circumstances.
I guess.
Or not necessarily.
Yeah, I mean...
Bastards are fine.
Yeah.
That's another one that's probably a little... that word, yeah. I didn't make the rules, guys.
No, you didn't. And that's okay. But you can change the rules, man. Just keep going.
Hell yeah.
I actually think bastard sounds better than illegitimate child for some reason.
It is a step up. Yes, definitely.
Jordan's going to cover a guy named Watnick. Yeah, you into that?
Yep.
Should be fun.
Cohen-Watnick.
Yep, Cohen Watnick. And he hyphenated his name because he, got married and... I don't know.
Needed to separate himself from Cohen.
And I'm going to try to make sense of all of the Michael Cohen news, speaking of Cohen. And we'll get into that later, but let's hit the week's news first with just the facts. All right, you guys, Monday, the CEO of Deutsche Bank stepped down amid money laundering scandals involving 10 billion, not million, billion, in Russian money through their New York, London, and Moscow offices from 2011 to 2015. Weird, that's when Trump was doing business there. The bank has paid nearly $600 million in fines, and they never quite got back on track, so their CEO stepped down this week. Also Monday, the House Judiciary received about 1,000 documents relating to a number of issues that were actually due on Thursday, but they didn't get them until Monday. And of course, Trump tweeted out that he was mad that the FBI missed their deadline. What are they hiding? Why are they late?
What does FBI even mean?
Yeah.
What does it stand for? I don't know.
They suck.
Female body inspector.
Fucking baloney investigation.
Yeah.
Fake baloney investigators.
That's the PC. I like that, the clean version. Yes.
That's funny.
It's so funny how he flips his dick over like a one-day overshoot for the deadline of this when he missed his sanction deadlines on Russia by 6 months.
Seriously.
Not to mention his appointee runs the FBI, but, whatever.
Or his firing Flynn date. He's late a lot.
Yeah, he's 18 days late on that. If I was 18 days late.
You'd be pregnant.
Yep. And then I might need to go find Michael Cohen so that I could, get somebody to pay me for an abortion. We'll talk about that.
We will get to that.
I don't know. We'll see. And maybe Trump will blame Bowditch. He's one of the last remaining FBI officials that corroborated the Comey memos. So maybe he could blame him for no reason. House Judiciary Committee Chairman Bob Goodlatte, he announced in March that he had subpoenaed the Department of Justice for this information relating to, quote, charging decisions in the investigation surrounding former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton's private email server, potential abuses of the FISC, that's the court that issues FISA warrants, and the FBI's Office of Professional Responsibility. That's the office that recommended the firing of McCabe.
Right.
So it's funny that they're all now concerned about the FBI going hard on Hillary,
That is one of the things that blows my mind the most is how quickly Trump was like, yeah, that Comey guy, he doesn't sit right with me with the way he handled that Hillary thing.
But lock her up anyway.
It's offensive to my memory.
It makes no sense.
I know.
What does? Then some crazy shit went down Monday. You guys, I was traveling to D.C. when the FBI raided Michael Cohen's office. They also raided his hotel. He was staying in a hotel because he was having his house remodeled and his
Naturally.
home.
Not just a friend's house. Yeah, it's got to be a fucking hotel.
Staying at the Waldorf, no biggies. Mueller and Rosenstein referred some criminal evidence to the Southern District of New York U.S. Attorney. His name is Berman. And basically, the warrant was obtained from a federal judge to do a no-knock raid.
Right.
Mueller and Rosenstein presumably turned this over to New York because they felt it was more appropriate than the Mueller investigation looking into it. So news about these raids came out all week, and I'm going to go into it more later in the show. That's what I'm going to try to break down for you in hot notes.
Hot notes.
As you can imagine,
we need a sound effect for our hot notes section.
Do. We need to. We'll Google hot notes and see what. Maybe we could use the hot. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Hot stuff song. We can get the rights to that from Donna Summer.
And it'll just be looking for some hot notes, baby.
I love how you went low for that.
Oh yeah, because you just fill it in.
Notes. That's good.
Notes. Because it has to sound terrible.
I like that.
Otherwise, I'm. It's too close to the uncanny valley of unfunny valley. It's the unfunny valley.
Yeah. No one wants to be stuck there.
No.
Yeah.
As you can imagine, the raid on Cohen really upset Trump, despite his thick skin, and despite having met with Mueller just hours before the raid. Like, total coincidence, right?
I heard he was freaking the fuck out.
Yeah, he was fuming, I think were the words that people were saying.
Oh.
Even more than normal. He fumes a lot. He's
That's why he's so orange. It's like he's constantly in a sauna.
He needs to be, regulated by Scott Pruitt at the EPA because he's so fumy.
I like that, yeah.
That would be so amazing.
But he won't because that's what he does not do. And he started floating the idea of firing Rosenstein and firing Mueller. He called the raid a disgrace. He said the FBI broke in to Cohen's residence, despite the having a warrant, and despite Cohen actually saying the FBI was very gracious and polite.
Oh, did he? I didn't read that.
Yeah, he did.
That.
Really?
Yeah.
He's like, overall good experience. Would do it again.
Sounds like someone about to cooperate, if you ask me, but that's just conjecture.
5 stars on Yelp. As far as these go, nice.
Yeah, I've been through worse.
It was one of the raids I've ever experienced. He was like, they were fine. They were great. Senator Chuck Grassley had something to say about the threats to Rosenstein and the special counsel from the White House and gave a speech on the floor the same day. Jaleesa, do we have a clip of that?
Oh, yeah.
All right, here we go.
Now, if the president is thinking of using this raid to fire special counsel Mueller or otherwise interfere with the chain of command in the Russia probe, we have one simple message for him. Don't even think about it. Special counsel Mueller has uncovered a deep and detailed pattern of Russian interference in our elections. It has led to several indictments and guilty pleas. It has also led the Trump administration itself to level sanctions against Russian individuals for meddling in our elections. That is proof positive that Mueller's investigation is not a so-called witch hunt.
We then learned from the New York Times that Trump had indeed tried to fire Mueller last December, but his lawyers talked him out of this. He said, quote, Mueller's investigation has to be shut down. That's not obstruction or anything.
No, not at all.
And we talked about this in December. There were rumors going around. We were like, he's gonna do it. He's gonna do it. And
even Thanksgiving, he was like, shut it down by then. Make sure it's done.
Yeah, he thought the whole investigation would be done by then.
Well, they thought it would be over. But this is him threatening to fire Mueller.
Yeah.
And he had threatened to fire Mueller back in June. We've reported on that already. But in December, we were, and all the news agencies were like, there's rumors, that he's threatening to fire Mueller. And the right wing, Nunes was like, no, you're dumb. No, he did.
Direct quote.
Yeah, I do. I direct quote him all the time. Mueller's investigation has to be shut down. That's pretty clear. So check this out. Here's me talking about Mueller in December. Also, Trump said he would not fire Mueller amid rumors that he would do so on the 22nd of December. And we made it through that day, and there were no firings, so phew. All right. Also, Mueller is looking into potential Trump campaign donations from a Ukrainian billionaire named Pinchuk, who we will be adding to our fantasy indictment team.
Oh, yeah.
He made a $150,000 payment to Mr. Trump's foundation, and that was a payment for a 20-minute talk that Trump made over Skype to a conference in Kiev. $150,000 for a 20-minute, hey, I like your steel, and I cannot lie. I don't know what he said, but it was a 20-minute thing. Apparently, Cohen solicited the contribution, and Mueller subpoenaed the Trump organization for these records.
Nice.
We'll see what happens. It was announced that Cambridge Analytica, the whistleblower, remember the guy Christopher Wiley with the pink hair? Wiley with the pink hair?
He's cute, yeah.
Becky with the good hair. I don't know. He's going to testify to Congress, U.S. Congress, and he will sit down with Mueller's team. Wiley has evidence that Cambridge Analytica sent multiple illegal foreign campaign workers to advise on multiple Republican campaigns, including Trump's and John Bolton's super PAC. We've been insisting that the GOP in Congress, particularly in the House, Nunes and his weirdos, that's dumb, Nunes. That's his catchphrase now.
Yeah. No.
We've been insisting that they're compromised, and I think this is why. So, Dallas?
Put some beans on it.
Very good.
That is beautiful.
They're complicit in the Russian election interference because they used hacked materials pirated by Russians and delivered by foreigners. I don't mind foreigners, but this is just illegal.
Yeah, yeah.
I hate saying that because I feel like I sound like
you just
Trump.
outed yourself as John
Foreigners came in.
Spurlock.
We need to build a wall.
Well, Trump's the one that muddied that word up. I mean, it was neutral. I mean, I'd imagine before then.
It was.
It's the ER at the end that makes it bad, I think.
Like the N-word.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like foreigners would be even worse. Like
the blacks.
The foreigners are coming in.
Yeah, it's a bit bold.
Foreigners has always been bad. West Side Story.
Yeah.
In West Side Story, she goes, foreigners.
You're right.
Yeah, it's always been bad.
Good point.
And the band Foreigner?
The band. Oh,
The
disgrace.
band Foreigner always been bad.
Anyway, I think it's why we might be seeing so many resignations of congressional Republicans. I don't know. That's what I think. Dallas?
Put some beans on it.
That sounds like a I don't know if I agree.
Yeah.
Put some beans on
Yeah, it's an endorsement when he does it.
This week, Facebook CEO and booster seat magnate Mark Zuckerberg testified to Congress. And
amazing.
He needed a booster seat. Did you see the
Because
photo?
he's 5'7". Is that supposed to be short?
I'm 5'7".
Yeah, what's
I
wrong
don't
with that?
understand. I
I
guess
mean, I don't
when I testify to Congress, I'll need a booster seat.
I'm definitely going to need a couple of books.
And the best part was they were going to use phone books, but they decided that wasn't modern enough.
Yeah, they were going to use Bibles, but he would have spontaneously combusted. But I'm sorry, I like
They were going to give him a phone book of everyone's information, but he already had it.
Oh, I like that. That's good.
Heyo.
Heyo.
What was hilarious and painful was watching him explain the internets to old people.
Yes.
That was cute.
Oh my
Did you
gosh.
see that?
Dude, I thought it was great.
Yeah.
And Kennedy's all, so what if I click on no? Am I then in the spaces? Or I don't know. It was just so I just made
Yeah.
that up. I don't know what he said, but I can't even be that dumb.
Yeah.
It was hilarious.
One person was like, so what I message with someone in WhatsApp, do you get that information? And he's like, no, that's an entirely different platform. It's encrypted data we don't have. He's like, no, that's not my question.
Yeah.
Do you get the data from WhatsApp? It was just like...
Yeah, they basically use the hearing to just solve their own computer problems that they were having.
He was customer support for
Yeah,
them.
exactly.
But you know what? I'm glad we're not talking about Tinder. That would have been really awkward for those grandparents.
Now, what I really want to know is how do I change my Windows password?
Yeah. Did you see the meme with Ted Cruz, and it was him questioning him, and it was like, can your platform fake a like on a porn video from a man who actually really does love his wife?
Did he say that?
No, it was fake.
We've come to a point where I don't know
Yeah,
what's
no.
true and what's not anymore.
Satire is dead.
Yeah.
I almost would have liked him more if he did ask that question.
I was going to say mad points for Ted Cruz if he said that.
It would have been great.
He is the Zodiac killer.
He is
That's
the
true.
Zodiac killer.
Facts.
And didn't his dad kill Kennedy or something?
Yeah, and I killed Tupac. Just so we're clear.
Hell yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, well, we probably shouldn't say that on the pod.
You
now.
killed Tupac?
Well, now I have to edit it out.
No, now you have to go back in time and kill Tupac.
Yeah. Oh well. Yeah. That's
You can't draw a red line and
You're
not
right.
cross it.
You're right. I have to just move forward.
Then late Tuesday night, Rachel Maddow. I don't watch Rachel at all. She had an exclusive scoop. This was incredible. She and her team got a hold of a couple of letters. One letter was from Dana Bente. Do you guys remember Dana Bente?
Yeah.
The guy we talked about that was mysteriously fired after having like 9 different jobs.
The Virginia guy?
4 different jobs under Trump. Yeah, Eastern District of Virginia, and then acting deputy AG, and then acting AG. Like he moved around, and then he sent him back to the Eastern District of Virginia, and then he was mysteriously pushed out. But then Christopher Wray hired him to replace Baker as the general counsel at the FBI. Baker was one of the Comey 5.
That's right.
General counsel is a lawyer. FBI is...
female body inspectors.
Yes. You were about to put some beans on it.
I was ready for beans.
The FBI has put some beans on it. So the letter from Bente... this letter from Bente was written to the Department of Justice, and it was dated January 2nd of this year, saying, Mueller has asked me to come and speak with him, and interview with him. He said, Bente said, I need to go meet with Mueller's team, because if I don't, he'll just subpoena me. And I'm sure I'm not a subject or a target of the investigation, because Mueller's team told Bente they just wanted to ask him about his time as acting deputy attorney general.
Right.
When he was that, he was overseeing the Russia investigation. He oversaw a lot of the Russia investigation. So interesting. I don't know how to feel about this, but I'm just, I don't know, because we talked about Bente a lot, and we talked about the Comey 5 a lot, and there was, I don't know, I'll talk about it in a minute, but there was a second letter that Rachel Maddow got, MSNBC got. I don't know if Rachel got it herself, like personally.
She's just waiting at the mailbox.
But she showed this second letter, and this was to Bente from Bill Priestap. Bill Priestap is the assistant director of the FBI's counterintelligence division. And he said, I reviewed your handwritten notes about your phone conversations with James Comey, and I've determined that they are not classified. What? Apparently, Bente had taken a lot of handwritten notes during a March 30th phone call with James Comey about a troubling conversation he had with President Trump. And the best part is that the handwritten notes are attached to this letter. So we now have Bente's unclassified handwritten notes memorializing the call from James Comey. His notes match pretty much exactly what Comey told him about what Trump said, and they match what Comey testified to in front of Congress.
Oh, yeah.
So when you run up across these he said types of situations,
Right.
and you have all this corroboration, not just from Bente and his handwritten notes and the phone calls, but from all of the Comey Five, who corroborated all of these memos and all of the phone calls, McCabe, for example, you start building a case on leaning toward one side, being more believable and credible than the other side. Because what's the other guy going to do?
Exactly.
Do you have tapes? Lordy, I hope there's tapes. That's why Comey said that. Like, well, please let there be tapes because I am saying what I said.
Yeah.
And there were mentions of Trump asking Comey in these notes to, quote, lift the cloud. The cloud, this investigation is a cloud. The P-tapes are a cloud.
Yep.
Is that
all
like
of his
code
past
word
decisions,
for
basically?
delete all of his cloud pics? I think that might be Trump just speaking to his lawyers like, the cloud, Russia, delete the cloud.
I think he was trying to say if his P was cloudy.
There you go.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Might have,
Oh, no.
I don't know.
Call your doctor.
Sorry. So he kept asking Comey to lift the cloud. Another note read, the ask was to get it out that Trump was not part of the investigation. So that was, now we here at MSW, we've been talking about the Comey Five for a long time. As I've said, these are the 5 FBI officials Comey told about his conversations with the president and his contemporaneous memos and how Trump is picking them off one by one. First, there was Baker, who I told you about a minute ago. He was the general counsel at the FBI, and he was moved to like a human resources hole or some shit. Like he just disappeared. Then there was, no offense to human resources people.
Oh, yeah, no. I just like the whole image.
Yeah, that's
Sorry, all the offense in the world to human resources. I mean, let's be honest. No one likes walking into that building.
Fuck you, Susan.
Yeah.
That's probably Trump's favorite department, though. They fire everyone. He
Yeah.
just loves human resources. I
Yeah,
know.
except
it's
he's
true.
always under investigation at the human resources level. Then there was Rubicki. He was forced out a couple months back. Then McCabe was fired, my husband. We know that. I'm here to comfort you, sir. The two others were Bowditch and Gaddis, but and we still are waiting on, like, Bowditch had to testify in the Cruz Parkland shooting thing. He got grilled on that, even though Ray was the director at the time. I'm thinking he's trying to find ways to get rid of him. Gaddis I haven't heard hide nor hair of, but in his testimony, Comey mentioned 5 or 6. We only grabbed onto the 5 because those were the only ones he named. Well, it
Right.
seems that as though Bente is the 5th Beatle or the 6th
yeah.
man.
Nice.
And we have always thought Trump's treatment of Bente was suspect. We've talked about it a billion times.
What position was Bente in again when he had that phone call?
He was the acting attorney general, deputy attorney general.
Wow.
At the time. So don't lose sight of the fact that Bente will be meeting with Mueller if he hasn't already. And that was in the letter that he wrote to the Department of Justice saying, hey, I got to go meet with these guys. These letters went out in January, so he could have already sat down with special counsel and handed over all his notes, which he made sure to declassify prior to the meeting. And I wonder who classified them and if it was an effort to try to keep them under wraps.
Yeah.
And also, it's you have to start thinking about declassification. You don't have to declassify these notes to give them to Mueller. You have to declassify them to give them to the public.
So Mueller knows.
Well, not just Mueller, but these were going to be released. Maybe Comey's book, something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I have no idea. So I don't know. But, Dallas?
Put some beans on it?
Yeah.
Nice.
Thank you. Then Wednesday. We're only up to Wednesday now. Coons, Booker, Graham, and Tillis. That's 2 and 2.
God, this is the most southern group of names
I
ever.
know.
It's 2 and 2, though. It's 2 Dems and 2 Republicans.
I mean, we don't hate on Southerners blanketly anymore, right? We established that.
You're right. But just, I'm going to ask really quick because I forgot. Which party is Coons a part of?
Booker and Coons are Democrats.
Okay, got it.
And
Just
Graham and Tillis are Republicans.
unfortunate last name is all that is. Got it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he chose it.
He did not.
Booker, yeah.
Booker. It's bad, right?
That's a bad one.
Yeah, with the hard ER on the end there.
Yeah.
Just call him Booka. Just call him Booka, and you'll be okay. So they wrote, they began working on legislation to protect special counsel. It's kind of weak sauce, though, because basically it says if Mueller is fired, he would get a 10-day window to seek an expedited judicial review of the firing. whoopty shit. Like, how about you can't fire him? I don't understand.
Yeah.
All right, you guys. Then on Wednesday, Paul Ryan announced he is not going to seek re-election in November, and everyone rejoiced. Yay!
Oh yeah. Good riddance.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I don't know how. I don't want to jump in.
Do
if
it.
I'm not allowed to.
Well, so you have to tell me to. You have to say the
Put
thing
some
first.
beans on it.
Thank you.
This Paul Ryan thing is super
password.
annoying to me. I hate it so much because this is going to be the trend going forward. Like, because I was a big Iron Stash supporter for like the last year. You know, like I love the dude. Like that's the kind of people that we need in Congress and in the Senate. The reason being is because that's the kind of people that were in Congress and Senate when they invented Congress and Senate was hardworking people. But Paul Ryan is just this is going to be a snowball effect of these Republicans who went in, they did a bunch of horrible, horrible things to make themselves much more money when they returned to the private sector. And then now they're all returning to the private sector going, oh, well, what are we supposed to do about it? Like, well, it's like friggin' it's like Pilate washing his hands of the blood of Christ and moving on, saying, it's not my fault. I didn't have anything to do with it.
Dang, did you just do a Pontius Pilate blood of Christ thing?
Damn right I did. And like that's what it feels like to me with this announcement. It's like he knows that he won't win because he fucked up so hard. But in his mind, he didn't mess up. Just that's the part that frustrates me. In his mind,
You don't think he does, like in his heart of hearts? Like,
No,
I
feel
don't
that
think so
way?
either.
Or do you think he's like not a real Christian?
Well, he's a Christian.
Oh, she went there.
He's totally
Because I feel like a real, even people who aren't religious, I feel like a real like human, like humble human being would know when they've done wrong shit.
Morality is subjective, though. I think he's
Not in this case. This is pretty black and white.
In general, yes, but you're
We
right.
can have a conversation about this because I disagree. I think that there are universal
Interesting.
rights and wrongs.
I agree with what you believe is right and wrong. I also agree that
As you should.
absolutely. But I believe there are people out there who can find ways to do mental gymnastics to call themselves a Christian by the book and still do things like
Yeah,
this.
but do they know it in their heart of hearts?
I believe they can convince themselves that
Or
it's true.
do they think that they are really
I believe
good people?
that the mind is a powerful thing, and even if it's not exactly fact or by tradition, you can convince yourself of anything.
I've tricked myself into some shit.
I believe it.
Yeah.
I have too.
My first
SeaWorld.
marriage.
Oh, zinger!
Just kidding. I'm kidding. There's only one.
Oh yeah, you know what I really tricked myself into? That Coney 2012 thing. Do you remember that?
Oh, don't get me talking about that. Why did you
my
all look
God.
at me?
Because he was at your wedding.
Well, yeah, he's one of my. I grew up with the man.
Really?
Yeah, he's a good friend of mine to this day.
I
Is
was
this
so
real life?
Yes,
That's why
his
I
brother
was-
is one of my best friends.
That's why I
of all
looked at
time.
you.
That's crazy. What a
Yeah.
coincidence. I was so when that came out, I was so
Yeah.
into it. I was like, I'm gonna drop out of college and just help these people.
That's
But
so
can, I,
what
can,
I'm
I,
enjoying.
can I say something though? What do you
Oh,
mean
sure.
you tricked yourself into it?
I have to go back in my memory and remember why that was problematic to my college activist self.
Like, why did you choose that? I mean, it was really great marketing and a great cause. So I think you weren't wrong to not even fall for it, but to get on board. But you're right.
Do you see Dallas? Do you see the language that's typically associated with Coney?
It's a controversial thing because
You
people
fell
aren't
for
aware of
it.
it. People aren't aware of it. Just like the DNC hacks, if people
I'm
don't
talking
know
about your language.
You're right. I'm a part of the problem because I couldn't tell you what Coney 2012 was
you
about.
so much. No, I have to tell you guys, Jaleesa is the sweetest person ever. Like Jordan will come in and say, somebody shot my dog, and she'll be like, yeah, but what was he going through right then?
There's always gray area.
It's so adorable. I love that about you, and I'm glad that you balanced that out in me because I'm a dick. So.
I love you, AG.
I'm also gonna. Yeah, I just remember news agencies came out with so much stuff about him and how he got caught. I don't know, doing something.
Well, no, he was
right?
definitely on TV doing gnarly stuff.
Yeah.
Because he had like a. Basically, they described it as a heart attack for the brain.
Oh, that was
And
not reported. They said
Of
like
course, it wasn't reported
drugs
because there's
and,
no
like-
fun in the actual
Yeah.
facts of the situation, is there? So the actual fact of the situation was that he literally went through a situation where he basically had a heart attack for his brain, and that's what caused him to just flip out and walk away from his house almost
That's so
naked and get to
sad.
the thing.
I got
and
zero
it's
of
because he
that.
was up for, basically awake for 7 days straight because that video became so huge. He was on a bunch of, day in and best part about it is I was in Vegas when that video came out with a bunch of other people who had grown up with him. And while we were like just getting loaded and losing tons of money on blackjack, he was like trying to change the world,
That's incredible.
So we were like at the blackjack table just looking up at CNN going, ha, Jason.
Yeah.
And double down. Like we didn't care at all. But like that's the thing to me about the Coney movement is that sure there were issues and problems, but name me an organization that doesn't have issues or problems.
Absolutely.
And the fact that they were trying...
The Republicans.
Exactly.
Yeah. Republicans are perfect.
Yeah, I don't mean to derail this, sorry. But the fact that they were so... That's what happens. When you're the biggest dog in the race, then you're going to get the most scrutiny.
And can I ask you really quickly to explain to our listeners who might not be familiar with Coney 2012, right?
Exactly.
What he was and what he was standing for?
Coney 2012, Joseph Coney is a warlord in northern Uganda, I believe. I'm not a scholar on the subject, but basically what happened was he would go
He's
around.
only your friend.
Yeah, Joseph Coney? The warlord. My friend. I did not grow up doing theater with Joseph Coney.
No.
Although, how fun would that be?
Oh, man. Dangerous.
He would go around and they would kidnap kids in these villages and they would force them to fight for
the child
war.
soldiers.
Yeah, the child soldiers, which is
the invisible children.
And that's what they call the invisible children. Jason and his two friends went and they found out about this when they went on a trip to like just literally as kids. We're going to Africa. Went to Africa. Found out about this and then went like, holy shit, this is awful. How can we do something about this? And I mean, that's when you start to get to a point. A lot of people go, oh, but three white men trying to figure out how to fix Africa. It's like, well, you know what? Sorry.
Somebody's got to.
So why not? It's not like they were like, hey, we're three white guys. We can fix this. They were just like, hey, we should try to fix
we
this problem.
People. Yeah.
Yeah, and we care about this.
That's when people flip the race issue in a really negative way. And it's unfortunate that happens, but you're totally right.
Yeah,
Actually, back then it wasn't even... I'm not going to say that wasn't about that, not as much as it is today, but I don't feel like that was as the issue as much as his health issues were the issue.
Well, then they basically did a bunch of work. I mean, the company was around for years before Coney 2012 happened. So it was around for years, and they were doing a ton of stuff. They opened schools and built schools. They opened up ways for people to get water. They were doing tons of things in Uganda and the surrounding I don't know what countries. I guess I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm not. This isn't my forte. But they were doing a lot of really good work, and then they made this video to raise awareness. They raised a bunch of awareness. And the thing about it is that Jason still goes and does stuff. He's actually right now with his family on the road. They released a children's book called A Little Radical, which basically teaches kids how to be activists.
Wow,
so they are now on the road doing a book tour, going around. They were just in D.C., meeting with senators and all the people that they've collected, contacts with over the years, introducing this book around. So their whole lives are being activists and wanting to push forward in the next generation and pushing it out there and trying to get people to stand up for what they believe in.
And when you help people and you're the biggest dog, like you said, you're going to get the most scrutiny, like the kids at Parkland.
Exactly.
What's weird though is that narrative infiltrated my super liberal college sphere, that he maybe wasn't liberal enough when you talk about the white people thing, and that's coming out of ethnic studies classes that are very against white people trying to solve problems in Africa. But yeah, that's they totally portrayed it as him going crazy, being an alcoholic.
Well, then you have to ask, then you have to ask stuff. Then you have to ask, well, what if you had one wish? What would it be for us to stop helping?
Yeah, I think Dallas addressed that perfectly too, Jordan. I think the fact that it did kind of create this weird.
When I say us, I don't mean me. I wasn't involved.
Oh, no worries. When the
I only help
college,
other white people.
I understand.
I'm totally
it's appreciated.
I'm sorry, that was a joke. Please don't email me.
No,
thank you.
AG's the best. So seriously, I think you made a good point, Dallas. I think no matter how much good you do, people are always going to say you're not doing enough, and it's not your fault, Jordan, that you got sucked into it, because I did too. I think sometimes it's what word gets around. Oh, I don't mean like
Yeah, I mean, I was just literally
way.
going off of
you just
like the only
what
news
you were
sources that I
hearing.
had in my own news feed.
Yeah, this podcast makes us dig into stuff, but most people don't. Yeah, so
Sorry,
just to wrap it all up, I know this is a good point. Even though we're 6 years late, I think it's still facts. You're still, it's still news.
Guys, when I make the wrap up sign, you don't have to say, "Oh, they're giving me the light. I got to wrap this up."
As comics, we're so used to it.
I know. Okay, give me one. I got a minute.
On the radio, if I wanted to make it known, I would say.
You're right.
All I'll say is this: I to close close it out with the Coney thing, I wrote a long piece about the whole thing before he went, had his incident, about the fact that the internet in general, and it's only gotten worse since then, it does those things where they go, hey, I'm going to sit here, I'm going to talk shit about everything that you're doing, and then I'm going to go watch Netflix. Because that's what people do. That's how people act.
Yeah, the armchair
for the most
activists.
part. I would just say it's an easy 50% of the people.
Oh, and honestly, whenever anybody gives me shit about anything, the first question I have for them is, what have you done to help your country today?
Exactly.
That's it. That's all my only question. What have you done to help others today, or help your country?
You can
or
totally
whatever?
talk shit about this kid doing this stuff in Africa, or what you guys are doing here. You can talk all the shit you want, but then at the end of the day, how are you going to fix it? What are you going to do? Is this what you do? You just shit all over everybody else? That's not very productive.
You're a political troll.
So that's kind of my first feeling with that. And it's only, now with Twitter being what Twitter is, it's like you could post a puppy on there and people are like, oh, you hate Jews. And you're like, what? This is a puppy. Like, what? Like, it doesn't even make any sense.
It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard to do.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry.
Anyway.
Yeah. Sorry about your friend. That must have been a nightmare of a situation for him to go
he's
through.
great. I mean, like I said, he's doing fantastic now. His family's doing amazing things. So
His good heart came through. That was why I got sucked in the first place.
Of course.
There you go.
You're the best. It's just, it happens.
We can talk about SeaWorld on another episode if you want.
And that was one of the best weddings ever. I love that wedding.
That was a fun wedding. It was a very fun wedding.
Hell yeah.
It's really great.
That
All
guy's
right.
wedding?
So, Paul Ryan.
Wedding.
Oh, your
He was
wedding.
At my wedding.
Oh.
So, Paul Ryan, am I right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I found a meme really quick. Sorry. It was a political cartoon where he says, I can no longer stand passively by while Trump spins out of control. It's time to take bold action. And then the next image is him running out a door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bye.
What a weenie, man.
Yes.
Yeah.
They all are pretty thin-skinned weenies, so sorry about your disease. I think, and just along the lines of what you were saying before we got into the Coney conversation, Dallas, is that they're going to lose. He was going to lose to Iron Stash. I 100% guarantee you he's going to lose to Iron Stash. And I love that guy, and we need more people like that in Congress. And that's if you are a patron, if you subscribe to our podcast, even for $1 a month, part of your proceeds are going to Act Blue. They're going to go to Act Blue to flip
Clean
Congress.
water?
Yes. Yeah, actually, technically, if we get
Trickle
Pruitt out.
Let me ask you this. Maybe Isa, Daryl Issa, whatever it is.
Oh, Daryl Issa, District 49. He's retiring.
He's retiring
He
too.
is. Mhm.
See, another one of these guys that's retiring.
There's about 40
Because he
now.
would have lost. Sarah Jacobs would have beat him in a heartbeat.
There's about 40. And you guys, we've been saying this. I've been saying this. You've been saying this for months now. They are complicit in foreign election interference via Cambridge Analytica.
Mm-hmm.
They used stolen and hacked emails from the DNC and the DCCC and
To win
Podesta
their elections.
To win their elections.
Yeah.
And so they're going to be, they're complicit in this.
Could we get them back for that? Like once they're even out of office, is there a way that Mueller or even the people that he's given power to?
Oh, if there's evidence, Mueller has it. And I'm sure he'll bring charges. It's
okay.
That's what he does.
Nice.
I've heard.
A little birdie told you on Twitter.
Well, let's get a little quicker on it.
And now back to the action. We also learned that the FBI raided, when the FBI raided Cohen's stuff, when he raided his office and his house and his hotel, they were looking for stuff connected to Donald Trump himself. And I'll talk more about that later. Also, news dropped that a former Flynn staffer named Cohen Watnick, a possible co-conspirator in the Devin Nunes shit, he's being hired at the Justice Department, and this blew my mind. Jordan, you're going to go over this later.
Yes.
And fuck that guy.
Yeah.
I gave it to you because it's Nunes connected, and you're like my Nunes person.
Oh yeah, I got it. I didn't see it coming until the end of the report, and I was like, "Oh,
Then
fucking
you're like,
Nunes."
This is why she gave it to me.
Yeah.
Then we found out the NRA got back to Senator Wyden. Do you guys remember this? We've been talking about this for weeks.
Oh, yeah.
If you remember, we've been following NRA Russia ties for months.
Feels like forever.
Last January, Senator Wyden wrote the NRA and the Treasury, Mnuchin, a note. Mnuchin's produced so many movies. It's weird. Dumb and Dumber.
That's right. Yeah, he's been involved with a lot of movies I like, too.
Yeah,
the
weird.
Lego movie.
Knocked Up. Wow. Yeah. 40-Year-Old Virgin. Yeah, he's got money.
I think Spider-Man, the last Spider-Man.
He's got good taste.
I mean, it's serious. I'm serious.
Yeah,
You're right.
He may be a
Sorry.
sketchy guy.
Whenever Dallas says anything seriously, I have to laugh because I think he's joking.
No, I know. It's a burden.
And no, everyone's like, "Hi, yeah, right." You're like, "No, I'm dying right now."
Yeah, exactly. It almost feels like Mnuchin shouldn't have left the movies.
Right?
Yeah.
Or was he laundering money through the movies?
Oh, that's what I'm leaning towards.
And he's just talking to the Russians like, we'll see you at the movie.
I'll be back.
That's for older people.
Yeah, I went over my head as usual.
It's okay. It's a Siskel and Ebert reference. I think one of them was dead by the time
If
you
you
were
could
born.
start out SpongeBob and move on from there.
SpongeBob, that's right. Represent.
Really
That's
helpful.
a great life lesson. That's a good rule. Just post SpongeBob. Anyway, so the NRA wrote back to his first letter and said, "There's none. We don't have any foreign donations." Then Wyden wrote them again saying, "Yes, there is, I bet. What's up with it?" And the NRA replied with their policy on accepting foreign donations. Jordan, we talked about this last week. Like, did you murder someone? Let me tell you about the laws on murder.
I'm not allowed to.
So Wyden wrote a third time and said, "Quit dicking around and tell me what's going on." So they wrote back again and said, "Okay, we took Russian money, but it's only dues, and it doesn't total more than $2,500. Now leave
Dues? Sorry. NRA, like people in Russia are allowed to pay NRA dues?
Anyone can. So
I didn't know that.
Well, or maybe not. I don't know. I don't read their rules when they sent them. So they wrote back and said, "We took Russian money, but it's only dues, and it's not more than $2,500. Now leave us alone. We've done so much work for you, and our fingers are tired."
My fingers hurt.
Oh, well, now your back's gonna hurt because you just pulled landscaping duty. Anybody else's fingers hurt? I didn't think so.
So I doubt Wyden will be satisfied with that answer. There may be another letter going out, but we'll see. I don't know. Wednesday night, news broke that Bannon, crazy Bannon, he pitched the White House aides. He pitched a bunch of White House aides about his ideas about what Trump should do about the Mueller investigation since they raided Cohen's stuff. It's a very complex 3-part plan. First of all, step 1, fire Rosenstein. Step 2, refuse to cooperate. And step 3, put your junk in that box. No, step 3, retroactively assert executive privilege.
Good. Fascism 101.
Yes.
All of those things.
And I can't help but wonder, like, is he trolling Trump? Like, is he fucking with him? Because we know Trump hates Bannon, and he shits his pants whenever anyone mentions his name. And Bannon lost Mercer funding because Trump broke up with him on Twitter or whatever. So this could be a setup. So in this week's review of Russian Roulette, we learned that Bannon blames himself for Trump firing Comey, by the way. After the intelligence community chiefs met with Obama, they all went over to Trump Tower to brief Trump and his team on the findings that Russia meddled in the election. And then they all left the room and left him alone with Comey, who was supposed to hand him the 2-page P-tape dossier after they were all gone. And just to make him aware that it was out there. He's like, "I'm not saying this is true or not, or this is substantiated, but it's circulating. It's probably going to come out. You just want to know about it."
Right.
Hey, bro. Like, here's a bro favor.
Yeah.
And then after Comey left, Bannon yelled at Priebus and said, "Why did you let him give Trump this shit? Fuck." He's like, is this an official FBI document? Has it been vetted? By handing you that, he said to Trump, by handing you that, it's now part of the official presidential record. And that convinced Trump that this was a shakedown and Comey was out to get him. And Bannon said, quote, "I planted that seed." And then he fired Comey. "It's my fault." So I'm not sure Bannon has Trump's best interest in mind, or if he's trying to weasel back into his good graces so he can get his Mercer allowance back. I'm not sure. Neither would surprise me. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think it's both. I think Bannon's just out for himself, but he'll do whatever he needs to with Trump to get there.
I think he's trying to get back into his good graces.
Yeah, he pretty desperately tried to redact his comments, calling him a psychopath. You know?
All right. Well, we're gonna go ahead and go with that prediction then. So Dallas.
Put some beans on it.
So good.
Do you feel reduced to a lower level? Why do we only just cue you
this
for
is
that?
great. This is great.
What are you talking about? Reduced to a lower level? This is a genius catchphrase.
It is. But Dallas is such a smart person.
If I could literally just do this on podcast, then I would literally just do this. I'll make the rotate.
And it's because he's a smart person that he was able to come up with "put some beans on it."
It's very true. Yeah.
If one day you'll see me on Maddow. AG.
Yes.
You'll see me on Maddow behind her just going, "Put some beans on it."
Just like the Maddow hype man. You just jump in and go, "Put some beans."
Do you remember Wayne's World 2?
Yep.
When the Screamer? Is that
I
his
was
name?
in Wayne's World
Yeah.
too.
Screamer.
Really? That's funny.
Wow.
That's extra.
Me.
Extra.
When he screams and flies back in the chair, that one?
Yeah, that's me. I'm doing that. I'm the screamer in the studio. All right, sorry.
I love how Jaleesa is like, I don't even know.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay.
Don't be sorry that you're young.
Heavily underrated.
Yeah. That's a
All
good
right.
movie.
Republican movies. Chuck Grassley, Republican Chuck Grassley, announced he wanted to raise the Coons, Tillis, Booker, Graham legislation to protect Mueller in Thursday's Senate Judiciary hearing. I have not heard follow up. I don't know if he brought it up yet. I've been looking. I'll keep everybody posted. So, but beans, I don't know. Dallas, put some beans on it. Thank you. Also, Wednesday night. Someone sent me a Mother Jones article. People send me articles all the time, like, oh my God, you have to see this, you have to see this.
Yeah.
And I usually have already put it in the script, but somebody sent me a Mother Jones article about Trump possibly replacing Rosenstein with a guy named Benchkowski. And I had to laugh, because this is a brand new article this week. But here, check this clip out from episode 11, 3 months ago. Also, Trump renominated Brian Benchkowski to be the Assistant Attorney General of the Criminal Division of the DOJ. And here's why that's crazy. I haven't talked about Brian Benchkowski before, but early in the spring of 2016, when all this shit was starting to stir up, before the dossier, before Steele, before drunk Papa Doc mouthed off to Aussie Downer in the UK pub, womp womp, the FBI was looking into a Russian bank called Alpha Bank, and it's mentioned in the Fusion GPS transcripts too. Because at the beginning of the campaign, the very beginning of the campaign, one of the Trump servers began communicating solely with that bank. And Alpha Bank hired a U.S. lawyer, all U.S. lawyers, including a Trump lawyer by the name of Benchkowski. Now, at that time, it was right around the time of the transition. So this is, months later, transition, December, October, November, December. And Alpha Bank hired Benchkowski. So he quit the Trump transition team to go defend Alpha Bank in some money laundering lawsuits. Then, after a while, Trump nominated him early on in 2017 to be the Assistant Attorney General of the Criminal Division of the Department of Justice. He was not confirmed because all the senators were like, what? Al Franken was like, wait a minute, let me get this straight. You should see the Al Franken. Look it up. The Al Franken, Benchkowski back and forth. It's so funny. He's like, okay, so you defended Alpha Bank in money laundering suits. And then, so basically he wasn't confirmed. But this week, Trump renominated him for the same position. A guy who represented a Russian bank accused of colluding with the Trump campaign to head the criminal division of the Department of Justice. Wow. All right, so then, weird. So then Thursday, a doorman was paid $30,000 to keep his mouth shut about Trump allegedly fathering a child. Not illegitimate. All children are legitimate.
Yes, a bastard child.
Yeah, exactly.
Jaleesa is going to tell us more about the doorman later.
Doorman.
You know what? You may have power now, but you're not God. You're a doorman, okay? You're a doorman. 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 Doorman!
Leslie
You're right.
Mann. I
You're
love
right.
her.
Yeah, she's so funny.
You're right. I can only let one black person in for every 30 people. So if there's 28 people, I have to hope for like a black guy and an Asian midget. I can't remember. It's so funny.
Craig Robinson was in that. That scene. It was Leslie Mann, Judd Apatow's wife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She has
Tarzan.
She has the best line in.
George of the
40-Year-Old
Jungle.
Virgin, I think.
Exactly.
Who wants some motherfucking pancakes? That's the best line in the whole movie.
Stormy
amazing.
Daniels was in that.
Oh, no way.
She played the porn star.
Oh, we got to look back. Oh, we got to watch it together now.
I know. We should have a viewing.
What an authentic actor.
Maybe our 100,000 viewing part. I don't want to.
Porn?
I was going to say I don't want people to know my address, but I got a 12-foot movie screen in the back. We could screen some Stormy Daniels.
We need to
Dude,
do this.
I would be so down.
Yeah, but I don't want to tell our fans where I live.
We'll blindfold them.
Yeah,
and then
that's
when
true.
they get here.
Rent a theater.
Yes.
You can rent like an AMC.
That's what I'll do.
Okay.
All right, you guys, we also learned that the acting CEO of Cambridge Analytica, Alexander Taylor, stepped down just weeks after taking the job over for Alexander Nix. So maybe you just can't be named Alexander and run Cambridge Analytica.
There's some glitch in the matrix there.
Dershowitz visited the White House Thursday, and he pitched his plan for what Trump should do about Mueller, much like Bannon tried. But this is Dershowitz now. Dershowitz, he's a Fox News contributor, and he's a lawyer, and he thinks that Mueller should have never been appointed in the first place. He feels like an independent commission, like the 9/11 Commission, would have been a better idea. So Dershowitz says, steel doesn't melt. Dershowitz says Trump should try to force Rosenstein. Oh God, I can't believe I just called him Rosenstein.
Hey, it happens.
I say
I know
that
you've
all the
been
time.
calling Diane Feinstein. You've been calling her Feinstein too.
I go back and
Is
forth
that offensive
myself.
to Jewish people?
Are there any Jews in the room?
I am half Jewish
the
on my
room?
mom's side.
Yeah, we're in a room.
Well, then you're all Jewish. If it's your mom's side, you're all Jewish.
Yeah.
So Dershowitz
I hate
says,
mint jelly. Okay, sorry.
just don't give me gefilte fish.
Yeah.
I've been a shiksa at Seder. I know. So Dershowitz
I don't
says
know what
Trump
those
should.
two words mean.
And you're half Jew?
Yeah, my grandma was a bad Jew. She would unfold a napkin instead of having like the actual ceremonial cloth that's supposed to shield her from, I don't know, God's love? Is that what that is? I don't know. I'm not Jewish.
No,
I'm
that's
Catholic.
totally what it is. Yeah.
Oh my God. Anyway, Dershowitz says Trump should try to force Rosenstein to recuse himself. We've talked about this eventuality on the show. Rosenstein is likely a witness in the obstruction case because he wrote the letter that recommended Comey's firing. But we were saying Mueller would have to finesse the timing, right? Like, drop the indictments and then do the obstruction because Rosenstein would recuse himself and he would have a window of time to get that part out. Dershowitz is saying Trump should file a motion and force him to do that. So that's interesting. I don't know. Dershowitz is insane, but he's probably the sanest of all the Fox News contributors, because they're all just fire their masses, fire them from top to bottom at the DOJ, put beans on it or whatever. So, I don't know. He seems like the most sane version. He's like, dude, you don't have to fire anybody. Just tell him to recuse himself. He's going to have to. He's a witness in this.
He's a genius dude when it comes to manipulation. He's the one who won the OJ case.
Yes.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know he was the secret behind
Wow.
what got OJ
The Twinkie
off.
defense? Or
The first time?
The glove?
Yeah.
No, it was the very end. Something happened at the I forget.
In Las Vegas?
The glove doesn't fit. You must have quit. Is that?
That was
Cochran, but
did that, but
Dershowitz did something from like a fax machine, basically, when he wasn't in the room. Like I don't think he was ever in the room.
But he sent some.
Can we explain to our listeners
Yeah.
what a fax machine is really quickly? It's a facsimile machine.
Think of a phone that sends paper.
What's a phone?
Yeah,
All right.
exactly.
Anyway, so Dershowitz met Thursday with Trump. So, we then learned that Mueller will likely move forward with an obstruction report without interviewing Trump. This is kind of big. The likelihood of Trump sitting down with Mueller after the Cohen raid is like gone. Slim to none.
Zilch.
So Mueller, he's so
He told him he wasn't a subject of the investigation and then raided his personal attorney's office.
He's so
I know he didn't. but-
He's so set. He told him he wasn't a target of the investigation.
Yeah, sorry. Is a subject, not a target.
He is. Well, he didn't even say that. He's like, you're not a target, man. Chill.
Yeah.
He's like, great, I'll talk to you. That sounds fantastic. We'll have fondue. Fondue is a dip, bread with a fork and cheese. Never mind. I'll tell you guys later. I'll show you photos.
Is that for me and Jaleesa?
Yeah.
Are you explaining what?
We know
I know what
fondue.
fondue is.
That's a
I'm a
dish.
stoner, okay? I've melted anything.
I'm sorry.
I make my own
I didn't
fondue.
realize it made a resurgence. Now I feel like
Fondue's back on top.
now I feel like a lame
Yeah.
hipster.
Yeah.
I figured they wouldn't do it because of the beards.
I went there for prom once. My mom paid for it.
You went to fondue?
Forever Fondue.
The melting pot.
Oh, the melting.
Down-
I've never
Downtown.
heard of Forever Fondue though. Is that in San
I
Diego?
don't think it's around anymore, to tell you the truth. It used to be
Forever
down in
Fondue.
Mission
What a
Valley.
liar. In
So
Valley,
anyway,
nice.
it's not forever. It's
Yeah.
shut down. The likelihood of him sitting down with Mueller is nixed, right? It's gone. So Mueller is activating Plan B, not the birth control. And that is file the report without Trump, basically. We were expecting a report in May or June, according to them. We were going to get an obstruction report in May or June after the Trump interview. But maybe we'll see it sooner now. There are 4 findings of obstruction of justice, and they are ready to go, according to sources close to Mueller.
Damn.
They include
on Trump?
Yeah.
Fuck.
They include the intent behind firing Comey, the drafting of the response to the June 2016 Trump Tower meeting, the dangling of pardons.
I like the visual.
For Manafort and Gates, yeah. And pressuring Sessions not to recuse himself. Do those 4 things sound familiar?
Yeah.
Yeah, we went over them in our 4 questions that Mueller wanted to...
Our mini-sode.
Yep, to ask Trump. If you don't get mini-sodes, get them.
Yeah,
Get that.
$1.
It's $1. Dude, if you need $1, I'll give you $1.
That's how it works.
Oh, damn it.
Yeah. You gotta let them
teach
give you the
AG
$1.
how to money.
Right, because then net zero. Okay.
Yeah.
Friggin' net zero. It's a lie. Zero what?
Ask the Mayans. That's a weird reference. Okay. There was a chatter late Thursday that Trump was thinking about pardoning Scooter Libby, and that Cohen may have had recorded phone calls that were seized by the FBI. And then lo and behold, on Friday, Trump pardoned Scooter Libby, and there were taped phone calls in the Cohen loot. So I'm going to go over the Cohen stuff in the notes, but let's chat about Scooter Libby for a second. I wanted to throw this over to Jordan because I know Scooter is, before your time, but you and I talked, and you were really into the Valerie Plame story when you were in high school, you said.
I was.
So I thought this would be great for you to tell us about who Scooter Libby is.
Yeah.
And maybe why Bush didn't even pardon him.
Yeah, thank you for sending this my way. The Valerie Plame story was one of the first things that really politicized me in high school, for sure. My dad was really into it, and it was just in the bad way, Like,
is your dad single?
Yeah. Oh no. Oh God, no. I'm so sorry. He has a
3
girlfriend.
men,
Yeah.
AG.
Yeah.
Is she cuter than me, or? No, do you know what? Don't answer. Just go.
Well, she's around my age, so I'll just.
All right, so she's tighter than me, but is she cuter? I mean, there's the difference. You know what? It doesn't matter.
Oh, God.
I'm true to McCabe.
I've already disappointed my dad so much, AG. I don't know if I can continue. But so, yeah, Scooter Libby was Dick Cheney's chief of staff during the Bush administration, and Scooter Libby was charged on multiple counts of obstruction of justice and perjury and things that I can get the exact list here. Libby was indicted by a federal grand jury on 5 felony counts of making false statements to federal investigators, perjury for lying to a federal grand jury, and obstruction of justice for impeding the course of a federal grand jury investigation concerned with the possible illegal leaking by government officials of the classified identity of Valerie Plame, who...
I get it now. I get why Trump pardoned him. Leaks.
Yeah, leaks, more leaks. Well, and also, okay, so... Basically, Valerie Plame's identity was leaked by someone who they now know, or who they did know at the time, was not Scooter Libby. It was actually someone named Richard Armitage, who was in the State Department. But Scooter Libby was Dick Cheney's right-hand man. There was a triangle of, there's larger than a triangle, but there's many more sides than that. Yeah. But it was Dick Cheney.
Hectagon.
Yeah, Dick
It
Cheney.
was a dodecahedron.
Yes.
I am a nerd. Okay.
Yeah.
My daughter says octahedron all the time.
That's really
like,
awesome.
my wife and I are like, oh my God. Like every time she, like, it's just a word.
That's a good word.
Yeah.
It's a great freaking word.
It is.
That's a genius word.
Yeah, that's great.
Sorry.
But no, okay.
It's an SAT word, though.
Take some beans off of that one. I'm sorry.
Take some beans off it. Yeah, you have to do like womp womp. Take some beans off it.
Yeah.
Can you give me a take some beans off it?
Yeah, take some beans off it.
We got to rewind you saying it.
It goes down at the end. Yeah.
That was good. Perfect. Please continue with the wonderful Scooter Libby.
Yes. So Scooter Libby, Dick Cheney, Karl Rove, all of these names were really prevalent in that.
Rove is a
Karl Rove is like
diabolical.
arguably the mastermind behind essentially undermining Valerie Plame, who was a CIA agent at the time, who was sent to try to discover any evidence of WMDs in Iraq, and she finds that there isn't any, and even finds...
I don't know how she did that, because she seems more like I don't know, she's a very beautiful, very white, very blonde woman. How did she sneak in?
Yeah, I don't know.
To the Middle East and get into the places where they would keep WMDs?
Yeah.
Like, how did...
blondes can go anywhere.
It's global.
You know what? You're right.
Yeah, I almost
They were just like, hey, hot lady.
Yeah.
Just let her go.
Yeah, it's a perk for sure.
But So Scooter Libby winds up getting indicted on those charges of obstruction of justice and perjury, essentially. And this was seen largely as an issue of prosecutorial overreach because they thought, if this isn't the guy that actually leaked her name winds up getting leaked. Spoiler alert. Which is
spoiler alert from the 90s.
Yeah. The issue with that, obviously, being that endangers the life of her and anyone that helped keep her cover, basically. And she's only researching terrorist organizations. It's not a big deal or anything. But the really, really interesting detail that I did not know about this was that James Comey was the person who appointed the special counsel to investigate Scooter Libby. So Trump pardoning Scooter Libby.
So there's like 9 levels.
Yeah, it's a big FU to Comey.
It's an FU to Comey, and
it's a huge FU to Comey.
And it's a signal to
saying, hey, you don't have to
Manafort,
cooperate
Gates,
that
and
much.
Flynn.
I'll pardon you. Yeah.
Not on the state level, though, Trump. He can't do that. He still can't do that, right?
Yeah, but this isn't a state right now.
I know this one isn't, but I feel like, he still has people that he can't. I mean, he's trying his only hand, but it's not a very strong one.
Yeah, but there are no state charges against Manafort or Gates right now.
Wait, what? None?
No.
Oh, man.
Isn't it fun? AG will understand this, but just to hearing all these old names again.
I know.
Like Trump become president. He's like, I'm draining the swamp. No, you're just going to the 90s. Like that's all you're doing. Like everybody I grew up hating when I was going to the 90s my teenage
swamp.
years. Yeah, it's like, Scooter Libby.
It's the swamp with bad music.
Exactly. Newt Gingrich.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Hey. Yeah.
It's so
Also,
funny.
a fun fact I learned: Scooter Libby's only novel he's ever written is titled "The Apprentice."
Oh, that's hilarious.
Oh my God.
It's like
10
it's like the Lincoln Kennedy, shit, right?
Yes,
Somebody
yes.
make that meme for me.
No, that's fantastic.
I would just hope that Mueller has enough people speaking up that he wouldn't need Manafort, but I know those guys are big, like Gates.
Oh yeah, they're huge.
He doesn't need Manafort. I think Cohen's going to flip. We'll talk about it in a minute.
Yeah.
Jaleesa, your boy Broidy resigned after paying a Playboy playmate $1.6 million to shut up and have an abortion, which I'm sure the evangelical voters will overlook in support of a pro-life candidate.
You know it.
He's the second embattled RNC chair to step down in recent months after Wynne left amidst accusations of sexual misconduct and assault and rape and stuff. The Law and Order Party, the party of principles, the grand old party. Jaleesa, do you? And this is actually really sad to me because I actually miss having discussions with legit Republicans about big government, small government,
fiscal conservatism
versus socialism or democratic socialism. Jaleesa, do you have a little bit of? Can you read me Broidy's statement?
Yeah, we have this unfortunate statement. So this is Broidy. He says, "First, I would like to sincerely apologize to my wife and family for the hurt that I have caused. I acknowledge I had a consensual relationship with a Playboy playmate. At the end of our relationship, this woman shared with me that she was pregnant. She alone decided that she did not want to continue with the pregnancy, and I offered to help her financially during this difficult period. We have not spoken since that time. It is unfortunate that this personal matter between two consenting adults is the subject of national discussion just because of Michael Cohen's involvement. Mr. Cohen reached out to me after being contacted by this woman's attorney, Keith Davidson. Although I had not previously hired Mr. Cohen, I retained Mr. Cohen after he informed me about his prior relationship with Mr. Davidson. I will have no further comment about this matter, and I request the media respect my family's privacy."
My favorite part about that is she alone decided that she didn't want to have this baby, as if to deflect pro-lifers.
Exactly.
But you do realize that she alone decided is pro-choice.
Yeah. So
just letting you know.
We're not actually pro baby killing people.
Yeah.
For the record.
But also, she alone decided to not have this baby. Don't worry about the whole, infidelity thing that I also did to make this situation happen. Let's talk about the she alone part.
It's a really well-written statement for stupid people.
It really
great.
is. Yeah,
It's
he's
great.
like, it's a shame that a relationship between two consenting adults. Never mind the fact it was extramarital.
If people want to
Playboy
pee,
playmate.
to pee on Obama's bed, that should be fine.
Right.
Which in theory I'm very down for. I'm down for a lot of like whatever queer sexual liberation
guys, we're
shit,
all down
but
for all
yeah,
this.
yeah.
I'm down for paying
we're not
somebody
shaming
off
this,
to
just their
who's a
hypocrisy.
Playboy
Yeah.
playmate posing nude in magazines and having an abortion.
Yeah.
This is
a Tuesday
it's
night for me.
It's kind of my high school. So, I'm 100% down for it. The interesting part here is the hypocrisy.
Exactly.
And
the post they hold, the level of
I don't care. I'll be president and I'll fucking have an abortion. I don't care. I'll do it every
an
6
abortion,
months.
sure. Yeah.
I'll do it every 6 months just
Absolutely.
in case. I don't care.
Hey.
I think you're saying because it's the post they hold that makes them feel like they can do this.
And that makes it hypocritical as well. Yeah.
That's a different kind of power. Comey talks about in his book. He talks about transactional power.
Right.
I've talked about positional power, which means you only hold power because of the position that you're in.
Yeah.
And the kind of leader that you want to be is somebody who has expertise or people who follow you because you have a good vision. So anyway, I don't want to get into. We're not going to do a Franklin Covey seminar right now.
No worries.
Check this out, you guys. Mueller may have proof that Cohen went to Prague. One of the major sticking points in Cohen's testimony is that he claimed he never went to Prague, as alleged in the Steele dossier, right? That he even sued BuzzFeed over it. He's like, I never went to Prague. Look at my passport. I don't have stamps. I had to fight for stamps.
Yeah,
on
I
my
didn't get any in
passport.
Mexico. They didn't give me a stamp. I wanted a stamp.
Okay, Mexico doesn't count. Those
I
people
know.
are rapists. If you don't even... Sorry.
No, that's Trump. That's Trump talking, not AG, guys.
Sorry.
Oh, yeah, no, that was
Please don't
satire.
email me.
That was, yeah.
Satire's
Yeah.
dead.
No, it gets alive.
Well, I'm going to go over Cohen in detail later, so hang tight, and we'll get to the hot notes after these amazing messages played to soothing music. Hey, Mueller junkies. I have to give some love to joysteaspoon.com this week for partnering with us and making us our own signature polonium tea from Russia with love. An amazing Earl Grey, which is perfect for making London fogs, which I asked for personally because that's one of my favorite drinks. You can get this exclusive blend for pledging at the $10 level. In return, I'll ship you the tea for free, and you'll get access to the MSW Book Club, the mini-sodes, including the entire archive, our weekly newsletter, access to our closed Facebook group, some laptop stickers, and the pure joy of knowing that you're supporting a woman-owned business and women in podcasting, and Act Blue to flip it blue in November. We only have 50 of the Polonium tea sets, so only the first 50 people who pledge at $10 will get this gift. So head over to MullerSheWrote.com and click subscribe now. You'll be glad you did. All right, welcome back. Oh man, this week was heavy. Jaleesa, you have some news for us about a doorman and $30,000. I never got paid $30,000 when I was a doorman.
Oh my God, yes, I do have some news about the doorman.
Or a door lady.
That's a lot. Yeah, door person.
Sorry.
We're inclusive here.
Uniformed crew member?
Absolutely. Door sentient being. So Donald Trump has another sex scandal, and this one may have resulted in a baby. Yeah, I know. That poor hypothetical baby, right? I mean, rich hypothetical baby, of course, but poor excuse of a father. So this story
reminds me of Meet the Fockers when they have that kid who they think is his baby and it's not, and he wants to start a business, but it looks just like him. We need a Saturday Night Live sketch of Trump's illegitimate child with the weird hair, but he's a kid.
You know what I think his baby looks like?
And the orange face, but he's a kid.
And this is not to bash a baby because it's not the baby's fault, but it makes me think about...
don't kick the baby.
Yeah, don't kick the baby. I think about The Hangover and the baby in the little satchel. I think Trump's baby is... I mean, it's a 25-year-old baby now or 30-year-old.
Yeah.
That's the kicker. I wonder...
Him and Eric Trump should look
your
at each
age.
other like they're looking at their own reflection or something.
Exactly. Right? Who is this baby?
this?
So, according to the New Yorker...
He's got less gums than we have.
It's a good giveaway.
How did he get such big teeth?
Right? Go on, Mari, figure this out. So, according to the New Yorker, this story is that Trump may have knocked up his housekeeper in the late 80s. Dun, dun, dun. And that was, like we said,
we're looking at another Schwarzenegger situation.
Ooh, yeah, I forgot about that. That's right.
Right?
Arnold had some...
Schwarzenegger? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's like a shitty Made in Manhattan situation.
Yet somehow Schwarzenegger is 1,000 times more likable than
and
Donald
also
Trump.
was a better politician, for sure. Hands down. Governor.
I mean, better politician.
But not the best.
Verbally, but I don't know in actions. But sure.
California.
I think Trump...
I just remember the Blarney Stone jukebox.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had Dallas and I used to do shows at the Blarney Stone Pub all the time, and on the jukebox they had the Arnold Schwarzenegger workout tapes. I don't know why, but you put them on. Like, imagine being in a bar, hanging out, having a pint, and then all of a sudden you hear, "All right, 1, 2, work your muscles, 3, 4, do it now, 5."
It was great.
It was amazing.
Yeah, it was great to play darts.
And the music behind it was something insane.
Something weird.
All
something
right, yeah.
very Austrian.
I apologize. Please continue.
Oh, absolutely. So, yeah, like I said, this was about 30 years ago that Trump may have gotten his housekeeper pregnant. And I was thinking, how crazy would it be if Hope Hicks is the baby, right? I know she has a history on the record. According to Wikipedia, I know she has a family and parents. But how much proof? He asked Obama for his birth certificate.
Everything stopped. Everything halt.
Yeah.
You don't run this shit by me first. Last week you pulled the half man, half mustache on me.
Yeah.
And I was blown away. Now you're pulling the Hope Hicks is Trump's daughter.
My tinfoil cap is on.
Which makes sense that he wants to have sex with her.
Yeah, and he's so attached.
I'm sorry.
No, you're right. You're right about parts of that, though.
I
Absolutely.
never even thought about that.
Yeah,
It's
she's
intense.
interning for the National Enquirer
if I can
right now.
quote the Beatles, I'm not prepared for that eventuality. That is insanity.
Yeah, I was just, oh my God, I was high when I thought of that. So we'll see what the
You know
fans
what?
think.
Get high more often. I
thank you.
love your contributions when
Thank
you're
you
high.
so much.
They blow my mind.
I appreciate that,
They blow
AG.
my sober mind.
So the New Yorker claims that the American Media Inc., or AMI, who publishes for the National Enquirer, they may have paid for this story with the sole intention of covering it up. So come to think of it, that's pretty typical of their
I
character.
love that you call it the National Enquirer.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Is it E-Choir?
No, it's the National Enquirer.
Oh, okay.
Inquiring minds want to know.
Oh.
And I'm only telling you this because
I need to know.
You didn't know. It's very old.
So for the record, it is National
Inquirer.
Inquirer. Thank you. I literally did read over that like 10 times. Like, what am I reading? But thank you. I appreciate it.
They still sell that, I think.
It's
Like
the
that
shit they
Vons
do.
stand.
I've seen it, but I never really said it out loud.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. So this is pretty, in character of them, considering that they use similar tactics to hide stories about Harvey Weinstein, at least according to the New Yorker. And not to mention, in August 2016,
I think it's Weinstein. I think it's Feinstein and Rosenstein, but I think it's Weinstein.
I think so too.
And that's because he has been ousted as a Jew, as an honorary Jew of the
gotta
community.
turn in his
He's
Jew
no
card.
longer allowed to be a Stein. He is now a Steen.
Well, there you go, Harvey. That's what you get.
And, don't be a dick.
Yeah, yes. I appreciate that as well. Thank you.
With your dick. Yeah.
Yeah.
Most importantly, yes.
Yeah. The speckle, what is it called? It's called
When the schmecken beckons?
I don't know.
I love it. Oh my God.
I feel like
it's okay.
I'm a bad Jew, guys.
No. I'm a bad at a lot of things too. Don't feel bad. So in 2016 of August.
Yeah, but you're a good Gentile.
human
Thank you.
being.
You're
yeah.
welcome.
I appreciate that.
I love it. So, okay, I'm so sorry. In August 2016, AMI paid former Playboy model Karen McDougal $150,000 for the rights to her story about an alleged 9-month affair with Trump, and they never published it. They said that her story, it just didn't pan out. She was, I guess, untrustworthy. They found that her claims were not valid. So yeah, they just kind of bought that story for $150,000 and just said, we'll just throw it away. So that's what they do at AMI. And the person behind this latest scandal with them
Catch
is
and kill.
Catch and kill. That's the name of the tactic, where they buy stories and they suppress them, just buy them for the sake of shutting them down. So the person behind this latest story is a man named Dino Sajudin, and my landlord's name is Dino. So I found that really interesting. There's no relation though. This Dino used to be a doorman at Trump Tower, and according to this article, in 2015, Dino was paid $30,000 by AMI for exclusive rights to this Trump housekeeper love child story. So, the father of the family of the alleged love child said that Dino's claims were completely false and ridiculous, and that he doesn't understand what AMI had to pay him for. However, legal experts say that AMI's payment to Dino is important because it corroborates the company's pattern of buying and burying stories that could have been damaging to the Trump presidential campaign.
I got it. So they buy and bury.
Absolutely.
They catch and kill.
Catch and kill, like you were saying, AG. So just to break it down for you guys, AMI...
Break it down.
Yeah. WikiLeaks. AMI investigated Dino's allegations. Dino told them that high-level Trump employees, including Trump's head of security, his name is Matthew Calamari, told him the story.
Calamari?
Calamari. Yeah, he'll probably come up later too. And then they actually gave Dino a lie detector test.
Squid pro quo.
It all comes together. The dots are connecting. So the AMI gave Dino a lie detector test, which he passed. And then AMI reporters met with Dino at a McDonald's, of all places, in Pennsylvania, where they signed a contract. And in this contract, it was a multi-million-dollar penalty that was going to be issued if Dino disclosed any of this info without AMI's permission.
Who fucking conducts their lives this way?
I mean,
let's get Dino over and get him a lie detector test over in New Jersey, and then we'll see what happens at McDonald's, and then everything's going to go down.
Wouldn't it be funny if the test was at McDonald's too? Like they just set him up.
Oh wait,
right
I
there.
know who does it. The mafia. That's who conducts their lives.
Yeah, a mob boss, so to speak.
This is fucking the most ridiculous shit I've ever heard. This story. Please continue.
You can't write this stuff.
I'm riveted.
Oh, absolutely. So according to a source with knowledge of the meeting, Dino and the AMI reporter signed the amendment, which the New Yorker has a copy of now, and Dino said that it was going to be a very Merry Christmas for him. Wow. So, yeah, this guy with the info is all about the money, which, I mean, it's a capitalist society.
If I got a $30,000 payoff.
And you don't care for Trump, it's like, yeah.
It'd be a nice Christmas.
No skin off his back, yeah. So soon after Dino was paid, the CEO of AMI, David Pecker, oh my gosh, Pecker. Oh, dear God, Pecker.
Does he hang out with that guy Cock that we were talking about before?
And Coons, maybe he's in the mix somewhere.
And
These
Wiener.
names, oh my God.
Cock, Pecker, and Wiener?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Do you guys
greatest
remember?
law firm of
No,
all
you
time.
don't remember. Dallas, do you remember Movie Phone?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
I used to do a great impression of Movie Phone.
This was my favorite thing about Movie Phone, and we did this several times. There was a movie called Pecker that came out.
Yeah.
And you call Movie Phone, and then you select Pecker, and they go... and the guy's voice is, "Thank you for calling Movie Phone." And then you select, and he goes, "You've selected Pecker."
Oh, that's hilarious.
And that was like one of my favorites. I would just do that.
That was your
do
first
that in my
stand-up set ever.
in my spare time. No, just in my spare time.
I love
Hello. Thank you for calling Movie Phone. I told you I used to do an impression of it.
So good. Thank you for calling.
Sponsored by MoviePhone.com and AMC Theaters. You've selected Pecker, playing at 4:45 p.m.
That's amazing.
That's
so good.
Yeah, that's why I'm
You've
here.
selected Pecker.
Thank you,
But then the
Pecker.
went on for quite a while. You've selected Pecker.
You've selected Poison Ivy 3, The New Seduction, playing at AMC.
It was like at the AMAs or the MTV Music Awards when Ba With a Ba was up for an award, and the lady
Ba with a Ba.
Kid Rock, Kid Rock.
Kid Rock,
Yeah.
and they had this like animated automated voice that came on is like, and up for Song of the Year, Kid Rock. Ba with a ba, and it was just like the most hilarious thing. Like, oh, that's hilarious. You've selected Pecker. Anyway, continue. With
I love
Pecker.
that. Yes, of course. So Pecker, he's been quite open about his friendship with Trump, and he told AMI reporters to stop investigating the housekeeper love child story after Dino was paid. So one AMI source said, quote, "There's no question it was done as a favor to continue to protect Trump from these potential secrets. That's black and white," unquote. So this is where it all ties
She
back
was
to
black?
Mueller. Yeah, she was black. Trump
Okay,
is
just
white.
checking,
Yes,
just checking.
making fact checking. I
No
love it.
orange.
Well, Trump is orange. Yes. Good point. So as we discussed in
Orange
black
is the new black.
Black and orange. Yes. Orange is the new black. Yeah.
That's what people said when Trump got elected.
I
after
love it.
Obama, orange is the new
Yeah.
black.
You know, hey, we get our jokes when we can. So
not any of our jokes, by the way. That's a
you're
dumb
right.
joke.
That's not our
Nope,
jokes.
nope, nope.
Yep. They're just jokes in the world.
Just color puns.
There you go.
Unrelated to humanity.
Right.
I would love to have a bumper sticker that said "Not color jokes, just
Color puns.
no, not what was it? Not what jokes? Not racist jokes, just color puns.
Yeah.
That'd be a great bumper sticker.
That's
to
kind of
have.
beautiful.
Yeah, that
Anyway.
encapsulates a comedian's thought behind everything.
So sorry.
No problem. So this is where it all ties back to Mueller. As we discussed in previous episodes, Trump's personal attorney, Michael Cohen, paid off Stormy Daniels in 2016. And even though AMI was not party to this contract, we now have 3 separate instances where Trump associates have paid off people to suppress embarrassing stories about Trump during the 2016 presidential election. It's crazy. So I'm just going to skip through a lot of this information that I could talk about for days. But let's go ahead and just go down to the fact that the AMI has a history of going pretty much not just with the kill and catch practices, but catch and kill practices.
Killing.
Yeah, you get your order.
Shoot first, ask questions.
It's very important we say it in the right order.
Yeah, I don't
Kill
like running
and then
around.
catch them. Like shoot them and then be like, I got you. Yeah, that's cheating.
Yes, definitely. So they also, AMI has a history of basically trying to prevent other news agencies from running the story. So the AP ran a story on Thursday, the Associated Press, describing the payment to Dino and the legal obstacles they encountered along the way. The story says, quote, during AP's reporting, AMI threatened legal action over reporters' efforts to interview current and former employees and hired the New York law firm Boy Schiller Flexner or Pecker Cock and Wiener.
Boy Schiller Flexer?
Yeah, that's a real one, which challenged the accuracy of the AP's reporting. So the FEC now might be able to investigate whether the payments to Clifford and McDougal violated federal election law since Trump didn't include them on his financial disclosure forms. And as we've discussed before, the federal election law bars individuals from making contributions of more than $5,400 to a candidate during an election cycle.
$5,400. Yep.
$5,400 is the cap. So the pattern here, just
same for everyone.
Yeah, absolutely, for every single person. The pattern here seems to be that Trump and his associates use third parties to pay off individuals with information that may harm Trump, and that to me sounds like a pretty relevant case for obstruction of justice.
No.
But that's what I got. All
right.
Yeah.
Thank you so
course.
much.
Yes.
Really
That was
interesting.
great.
Really
Thank
interesting reporting. All right, you guys, that brings us to our major discuss of the week. I can't believe I just said that. Just shoot me.
Hey, we're rubbing off on you.
I know. I have young people around me now, and
Yeah,
things
you're
are
abbreviating
happening.
everything.
Yeah, I'm like, check out the sode that we just did with our discuss. It's
Yeah, we keep you
fantastic.
young.
Obviously, it's cute.
I love it.
That's actually kind of 2014.
You're
Sorry.
right.
All right, man. Thanks, Jaleesa. That is nuts. There's been a lot in this investigation, but this week, I don't know. It seems like. Do you guys remember a couple weeks ago when I said it seemed like shit was shaking loose? Like 2 weeks ago, I was like, shit is shaking loose. Well, it's absolutely insane this week, and I think this is proof that it is. It's like tantric justice. Like, we've been waiting for 24 weeks. Like, come on, get it, do it. And here we are. It's all the floodgates have opened. Jordan, you have a story about Watnick, a friend of your bestie Nunez. I hear.
Apparently.
Let us know.
Yeah, so Mr. Ezra Cohen Watnick was appointed.
Very Jewish man.
It is. Yeah.
And woman is combined.
Oh, yeah.
Which is totally fine.
Yeah, totally. Oh, yeah.
Do
yeah.
you.
Sorry, yeah. No judgment, just really impressed.
Be you.
Oh, yeah.
You know what?
Totally
You know
fine.
what? Dallas?
Yeah. Oh, put some beans on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I
all
should
right.
have done it. Sorry. Can we do it again?
Rewind. And
You don't have to
try
delete
again.
this at all. Just, what?
And Dallas?
Put some beans on it.
Oh, yes. That's
what I was looking for.
That's the
Nice.
politically correct version of that. You're absolutely
You're all
right.
welcome. Send your complaints.
Jordan.
All right, so I was just hissing from my throat. If you'd like to cut that out,
Yeah.
It was supposed to be a Jew sound.
You had a great like a throat noise last week. Well,
Oh yeah, just bubbled up from the depths of my fucking. Yeah,
and it wasn't cut out. No, don't cut it out. Leave
Yeah.
it. Actually, go
I've
back
thought
and
about
listen.
going to a doctor about
Go
that.
back and listen to episode 23 and see if you can find it, and then find it, record it, and then tweet at us at Mueller She Wrote.
Oh God.
And I will, I don't know, give you some clappy hands in response.
All
Yeah.
right. Sounds good. I'll leave that shit in there.
Thank you. All right. So Ezra Cohen Watnick was appointed as the National Security Advisor to Jeff Sessions, Attorney General Jeff Sessions.
A time or two.
I do not recall.
God, the worst catchphrases ever.
Right next to Kaplawi.
It's a pretty accent, but just he's such a dick.
He gives Southerners a
Yeah.
really bad name. They
Yeah, like
try
a
so hard.
debutante belle accent.
You
but he's a
give
piece of
Southerners
crap.
a bad name.
It's true. And so this guy was selected by Sessions because he's kind of known for being really tough on Russia and China, I guess. He's 31 years old, not being ageist, but that was the issue with the previous office that he held that caused a lot of controversy, which was when he was the senior, Trump and Flynn appointed him as the senior director for intelligence for the National Security Council, and they oversee covert action and other intelligence programs. So the issue with this guy was that this position is typically filled with a multi-decade-long veteran, and this guy was 31 and very inexperienced.
Hey, he's not under 30. Everything's fine.
That's true.
It's not like the
standard
PPO.
now, yeah.
30 under 30.
Yeah, I hate the ageist element of it, but there is just something to be said for wisdom when you're talking about war against humanity.
You're right.
There's really...
Look, when I have to admit that when I was under 30, I would not have hired me to do the job that I'm doing right now. And it's not because I was not smart. It was because I just didn't have the experience.
Yeah,
exactly.
And I was out
There's no shame in that.
Drinking and partying 4 nights a week. So
yes.
Hey, you gotta live.
Yeah, rocking the bass.
Yeah. With that work-life balance doesn't mean shit until you're in your 40s, and you know.
Yeah,
truth.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's all life before then.
Yeah. So this guy is supposed to be advising Sessions on counterintelligence and counterterrorism. So pretty important job. He was replaced from when he got taken out of his previous position, McMaster did that. So McMaster is the guy that replaced Flynn.
Right.
And
who is gone now.
And he was, who is now gone.
Now it's John Bolton.
And we had hope for McMaster because he was actually intelligent.
I like
about,
McMaster.
Yeah.
McMaster,
way
Kelly, and
better
Mattis, or like the three amigos of...
And Tillerson I had hope for.
I don't know about that.
It was just me. I'm a lone wolf in that.
You're a nice person, I guess.
Maybe because he's an outsider and he didn't have anything to do with anything, but...
Yeah, he failed us too.
Yeah, for sure. So Mr. Cohen Watnick was outed in August 2017 as part of the changes in the White House when McMaster comes in and is apparently one for qualified candidates. So not good news. Not good news for him.
It's really hard for Trump to find qualified candidates, and it always has been. It's been hard for him to find qualified judges. It's been hard for him to find qualified White House staffers.
Yeah.
Everyone beats women and breaks glass doors and smashes people in the eye with
launders money,
stem of a margarita glass, or is his son, or like he has a really hard time finding people who are legit to work in these positions. Yeah. And he's blamed or he's accused Mueller and Mueller's team several times of being biased and Democrat, and it's like, well, I'm sorry that the brightest legal minds in the country are liberals.
Yeah,
exactly.
Ooh. Yeah.
So anyway, sorry. Please.
No,
continue.
no, it's fine.
We sound like Hillary. We're like, the people that voted for me, they were progressive. And the thing is, though, some patterns are just
you
patterns.
sound like Hillary.
I do. Yeah. Sorry. You're right. I should take the blame for all that.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Well, typically also what Trump has a knack for is picking people that get swept up in all these huge public scandals, and political and social alike. And Mr. Cohen Watnick did get swept up in a sort of scandal, and this was in 2017 when Trump accused Obama's administration of wiretapping his phones at Trump Tower. So, of course, when Trump makes these allegations, David Nunes, good old David Nunes, comes in.
Nunes came to him and said, "Oh my God, they're tapping you," when they were actually just had a FISA warrant out on, our buddy Carter Page, who was gone from the campaign at that point.
Page.
And when Nunes comes out with this, bolstering everything that Trump's saying, he says that he had evidence that Trump's communications were swept up in surveillance technologies by American spy agencies. And at the time, Nunes did not divulge the sources of this, but then he later, American officials later tell the New York Times that Mr. Cohen Watnick, the subject of this hot note, had helped print the intelligence reports that later served to be Nunes's proof. So, obviously, that creates some issues because this revelation shows that Mr. Nunes and one of his aides, Michael Ellis, who was a lawyer in the White House...
Stop calling him Mr. Nunes. It's Devin.
Mr. Nunes.
F that dude in the A.
Yeah.
Devin.
Yeah, I do feel like Mr. is almost too distinguished a title for all of these people.
So Devin, what did Devin do?
Yeah, so Good old Debbie boy.
WDDD.
Devin and Michael Ellis, a lawyer at the White House counsel's office, they were using intelligence specifically to advance political goals. So right now, when we look back on this and we see that this guy is getting appointed to this position, it's like he's getting to do a sort of victory lap in the administration after he was let go.
It's gross.
That scandal.
It's gross, and I hope that that all of these investigations just bring everything down, and he just doesn't get anything, and he has to go home and cry. Mm-hmm. That's my whole hope.
Yeah, and Nunes lied and said that the information came from whistleblowers.
Nunes lied?
He did.
What?
Yep, he said it came from whistleblowers, and it in fact did not. It was coming from people that arguably manufactured the information within the administration.
I love the way you say it. In fact, did not. What the fuck?
Very nice.
Oh my god, they are stupid. I could probably do a great impression of you. We'll figure it out later.
Hell yeah.
Well, thank you so much for that.
Thank you, Jordan.
coverage.
You're welcome.
So Dallas has to leave.
Sorry.
So we're gonna record some, put some 3 o'clock. We're gonna put some beans on it, a few different ways.
Yeah.
So give me angry. Put some beans on it.
Put some beans on it.
Thank you. Now give me some sad. Put some beans on it.
Put some beans on it.
Now give me some inquisitive. Put some beans on it.
Put some beans on it.
Okay. Oh yeah, that's an exasperated one. Give me some. Give me a I'm so mad. Put some beans on it.
Put some beans on it.
And finally, give me a I love you. Put some beans on it.
Put some beans on it.
Oh, thank you so much, Dallas, for being here. That is amazing. Dallas, thank you so much.
I'm just saying, this is awesome. You guys are great. I'm a big fan of the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, no, this is great.
Do you have any shows coming up?
Oh, God.
Anything you wanna
When is this
plug?
going out?
What do you want to plug? Do you have a podcast you want to plug?
Monday.
I mean, I do a very specific San Diego sports podcast.
That's fantastic.
If you live in San Diego or care
Five
about
Fatal
the
of Fame,
Padres,
Faith Fatal of Five, Five Fatal of Fame, and he fires. What is your San Diego sports podcast?
The Kept Faith is what it's called. It's called The Kept Faith. You can find it on iTunes and Google Play. You can follow me on Twitter at Dallas_MC if you so choose. And I think the next show I'm doing is April 19th at the Comedy Store.
In San Diego,
San Diego in La Jolla.
La Jolla Comedy Store.
Yeah. So that'll be fun. I haven't been
nice.
there in a few months, so it'll be
I haven't either. I'm going to come see you.
great.
Awesome.
I'm
Come.
doing like a May 17th with Bob Hansen. I miss that guy.
Bob Hansen.
Yeah, he's coming to the-
You should have him on the podcast.
Bob
Man,
Hansen.
He'll just talk about 9/11 conspiracy theories.
He will,
the
and it's
entire time.
hilarious. And
It is.
you know what? I think I might invite him.
I'm
to be
down.
on.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know what you guys are doing. We're all gonna die. What are you even in the room for? You're all dead. We're all dead right now.
We're gonna die.
He's the best.
Everything's dying.
He's so funny.
I love it.
All right. Well, thank you guys for
Thank
having
you,
me.
Dallas.
Thanks,
Well,
Alice.
please feel free to show yourself out. Don't let the cats in or out when you leave. And I love your face, and it's good to see you.
You
And I
too.
hope I see you at a show soon. All right, you guys. Well, that brings us to our major discussion of the week. The FBI raid on Michael Cohen. Mm-hmm. Michael Cohen pretty much first came to everyone's attention when his name popped up in the Steele dossier in January of 2017, when the BuzzFeed, they published it, and we all got to see it for the first time. Trump and his lesser demons have decried the dossier as fake news and a failing pile of garbage since before it was even published. The dossier talked about a clandestine meeting in Prague in August of 2016 that was allegedly attended by Cohen, 2 Russians, and several Eastern European hackers. They met at a cultural center called Rosotrudnictvo. I'm going to try it again. Rosotrudnictvo. It's really bad.
It's convincing.
Thank you. I speak German much better. Sprechdeutsch. So they did that. They met at the cultural center so that they could say they were just being cultural if they got caught, right? Mm-hmm. So they're all about plausible deniability. The dossier said Cohen and a Russian were discussing how to make cash payments to Russian hackers working to undermine Hillary, and how they could be paid with deniable cash, right? Because cash is the way you pay everyone if you don't want anyone to know what you're doing.
Right, no paper trail.
Exactly. So they also talked about how to sweep it all under the rug and cover their tracks, and how they could hide in Bulgaria. That was another thing. We could lay low in Bulgaria. Mm-hmm. Well, this past everyone loves Bulgaria. This past Monday, there was a no-knock raid at Cohen's door. The FBI raided his home, his office, and the hotel he was staying in while his house was being remodeled. News trickled out all week about what the FBI was searching for and what they found. The first news stories said that this wasn't Mueller, right? This has got nothing to do with Mueller. Mueller had found some things in the course of his Russia investigation, took it to Rosenstein, and they decided together that this was a dish better served by the U.S. Attorney in the Southern District of New York.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that Mueller and Rosenstein decided that even though anything arising from the course of the investigation is fair game, anything arising is fair game for special counsel, they wanted to avoid any appearance of violating the scope. So they handed it off. They handed it off.
Yeah, it makes sense.
During the Clinton investigation, Ken Starr did this. He began with a real estate deal, Whitewater, and he ended up on Lewinsky in the blue dress. And he caught a lot of flack for that divergence. So in this case, they figured best to hand it off. Of course, Trump was seething, fuming. I'm fuming about the raids. He went on TV and did that thing where he sits at a large conference table with his like he's on Celebrity Apprentice,
exactly,
with his arms crossed and his dentures falling out. And he talked, and he talked about how the FBI broke into Cohen's house, despite Cohen saying the FBI was polite. And Trump kept repeating that Cohen is a good man. He's a good man. He's a great man, which is what he kept saying about Manafort and Flynn after they got arrested.
And those people in Charlottesville, the Nazis. Yeah. Fine people.
People on both sides. The next day, we learned the FBI was looking for communications about Stormy Daniels and Karen McDougal. But that seemed weird to me. Like a no-knock raid for campaign violations, for Playboy model, for paying off Playboy, like a no-knock raid for that? Like,
very much.
I get the no-knock raid for Manafort, but what? It seemed weird. Then we heard the FBI was looking for communications about the Access Hollywood tapes. That's the one where Trump told Billy Bush he grabs women by the pussy.
Right, Bush, yes.
Yeah, Bush. Sorry. I just think it's so funny his name is Billy Bush.
Yeah,
and he's talking about
it is. Billy Bush is the name that I would think would grab me by the pussy for sure.
Definitely.
He totally would.
Yeah. Billy Bush.
Anyway, the thing is, I remembered that the wiki dump of the Podesta emails happened less than 30 minutes after the release of the Access Hollywood tapes. And perhaps they were looking for communication showing coordination between Trump aides and WikiLeaks to strategically release these emails. Dallas? Oh, he left.
Oh, no.
Put some beans on it.
Yeah.
I can only hear the birds chirping in the background.
Then the news dropped that Berman was recused from this raid. Berman is the U.S. attorney in New York, Southern District. He was handpicked by Trump after he fired Preet Bharara.
Oh, yeah.
And I believe he's recused because he's a Trump supporter and a donor with ties to Rudy Giuliani. And he may be a subject in the raid himself. Dallas.
What?
Put some beans on it. I'm so sad he's gone because this is his big moment.
I know. There's all the beans pudding.
There's a lot of beans in this part. I don't know if you guys remember, but Giuliani may have put a mole in the GSA to protect the Trump transition emails from ever going public. But remember that guy died? And Mueller just, walked in and asked for those emails? So perhaps Berman is tied to that, which could make him a suspect. Finally, it was reported that the FBI seized tapes from Cohen of phone conversations, specifically with another lawyer named Keith Davidson. You guys are going to flip out about this. Keith Davidson represented 3 women we know of so far. Stormy Daniels, Karen McDougal, and the Brody abortion lady.
Shit, yep.
They all ended up getting payouts for their silence. It sounds to me like Davidson and Cohen had a deal together. And they might face RICO charges. That's racketeering charges, because that's a racket. Then Friday, they announced that Cohen is now a target in a criminal investigation, which is more than Trump is. Trump's just a subject. I'm just a subject, not a target.
I love being a subject.
I love subjects. They're so great. They're so fantastic. I'm the best subject. The greatest. Anyway, the FBI was forced to do a no-knock raid because they were able to prove that a federal judge that Cohen would likely destroy important evidence. He would destroy evidence if they didn't just come in and take it.
Right.
So not only is Cohen probably facing wire fraud, election fraud, FEC violations, campaign finance fraud, computer fraud, money laundering, racketeering charges, but any communications found that cover conspiracy with Trump or Russia, with WikiLeaks, and I don't know, that will likely be handed back to Mueller. Mm-hmm. Trump is reported to have said that if he sees the Cohen probe as a bigger threat than Russia, which is interesting.
That is just because of all the information he has.
Yeah, Trump says this is bigger than Russia. Cohen is bigger than Russia.
Who said that? Sorry, not Trump. Trump said that.
Yeah,
Whoa.
I doubt it, but
do you guys think the feds could flip Cohen?
Oh yeah. They'll flip him over and bend him over. Yeah.
I think
it's for sure. I didn't mean any about
Sorry,
that.
no, they'll get him this thing. That's what I mean. Yeah.
I think for me, I would have to know what they're legally allowed to take from what they find and actually prosecute him with.
Well, we'll talk about this in a little bit, but apparently he has not been an attorney for the last 3 years.
Oh my God.
Just a guy, right?
So
just a friend.
Attorney-client privilege doesn't...
Exactly.
Fuck.
They don't need much to get him to
Well,
flip.
think about it. But, but here's the other thing, too. If you... even if you are an attorney, if you are conspiring to commit crimes, that's not covered by attorney-client privilege.
Right. It's like your doctor when they have doctor-client or patient privileges when you want to hurt yourself or someone else, that goes out the window.
Mm-hmm. Right. They have to report it if you're a threat to someone else.
Yeah, it makes
or just society.
Sense. Yeah.
I don't know. I just think it's insane.
Yeah, that is.
Anyway, knowing how loyal Cohen is to Trump, do you think he could flip? I think he could flip.
I think he's loyal to Trump's money.
Is he beholden to Russia in a way that's scary, like Manafort?
I don't know about that.
I haven't heard anything about that
He's
yet.
been a middleman, it seems, but I don't know about beholden. I think.
I don't know. I don't know. I think he's just beholden to Trump.
Yeah, Trump's bank account.
Either way, you guys, Cohen is fucked.
Cohen's fucked.
Everybody, 1, 2, 3. Cohen is fucked.
I like that. We should go Carolyn.
We had a nice barber shop.
Wait, let's harmonize. Cohen is fucked. You suck it.
I don't know how to sing. I'm sorry.
You start.
Okay.
Cohen is fucked. Fucked. Thank you.
Are we going on tour? Is it happening?
Right back.
Oh my God, that was so fun.
We'll be right back. Hi, this is AG from Mueller, She Wrote. I would take a minute here to thank all of our subscribers, but they don't have to listen to this shit because they don't need to listen to ads. Our patrons are truly blessed. They get access to all of our minisodes, including the entire archive. They get our weekly newsletter that Jordan creates, and it's amazing. It includes my research notes and all sorts of infographics and just incredible information. Thank you, Jordan, for making that. And you'll be a member of the MSW Book Club next week. We start A Higher Loyalty by James Comey, and the first 50 people that pledge at the $10 level will get a 2-ounce bag of our limited edition From Russia with Love loose leaf Earl Grey polonium tea, blended exclusively for Mueller, She Wrote patrons by joysteaspoon.com, a woman-owned, responsibly sourced tea company that believes in the soul of the tea. There's only 50 of these, so head over to MuellerSheWrote.com now and click subscribe. And thank you for listening. All right, you guys, we're back. Are you ready for the Fantasy Indictment League?
Yeah.
All right, I don't know, you guys. It feels like someone took a bat this week and hit the hornet's nest.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping for some indictments of the Russians who hacked the Podesta and DNC and DCCC, along with perhaps Stone and WikiLeaks. Maybe they'll drop soon. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I'm hoping the same thing. It's overdue. We're already pissed off. We already know what they did. Yeah, we're ready.
Yeah, we've been talking about that.
Yeah, they're not even big fish, so I don't. Yeah, I don't know. What the
I feel like he was. I feel like he was about to warm it up, Chris.
Oh, Cohen distracted him.
Warm it up, Chris. And then Trump dropped some shit.
You're right.
Like I feel like things went down, and he was like, "Oh." Fuck.
I saw a thread on Reddit that said, "It's a quote or a Trump quote." It said, "You can't get indicted if you keep giving him things to investigate." You know,
that's really true.
Yeah.
And you asked me that. You were like,
Yeah.
well, how can we turn in a report if he keeps doing the things?
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll figure it out.
It's tricky.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping for indictments. Like I said, I want them to drop. We need them to drop.
We're ready.
So much momentum.
It would really help out a lot, Mueller, if you're
listening,
if you would just do the thing.
Or a little birdie in Mueller's ear. Just somebody, just pass on the word.
Well, a lot of that has to do, a lot of it hinges on this week's sabotage. All right, you guys, just before recording, Cohen was ordered to appear in court Monday. It turns out, that's today if you're listening to this, it turns out Cohen may not have been an attorney for the past few years.
You don't even go here.
She doesn't even go here.
I just wish we could all get along like we used to in middle school. I wish that I could bake a cake made out of rainbows and smiles and we'd all eat it, be happy.
She doesn't even go here.
Do you even go to this school? No. I just have a lot of feelings.
Okay, go home.
So Monday, Cohen is required to provide a list of clients to the court, to the judge. Because yesterday in court, Cohen's attorney tried to assert that the documents and tapes seized aren't admissible because of attorney-client privilege. We call that ACP. When they were asked who Cohen's clients were, the judge was like, "Who's your clients?" The lawyers for Cohen wasn't there. The lawyers for Cohen couldn't the lawyers for Cohen couldn't answer the question. Like, we don't even know.
Yeah. How crazy is that?
I can't tell you. I don't even know. And that pissed off the judge. She was mad, right? I love this lady.
I love lady judges. Just a personal bias.
I know. I have a thing for Judge Judy.
Yeah, I had a female judge, and she gave me like a citation. I still loved her because she was a lady
I thought
judge.
you meant you had a female judge.
Oh, like I had a female? Oh, God, I wish. Okay, sorry.
Anyway, she's moved everything to Monday now, and she's ordered Cohen himself to appear, not his lawyer, so she can get a list of his clients, and she's required that as well. Cohen's lawyers are also trying to say that any communications seized involving Trump are not admissible because they are protected by ACP, attorney-client privilege. But the government hasn't even gotten the evidence yet. It's still with the taint team. I love the fucking term taint team.
You cannot make
really
this
do.
up.
So the taint team comes in, they gather, there's a clean team who cleans it, and then they send it all over to the clean coal, and they send it all over the taint team, and the taint team decides what is attorney-client privilege and what isn't, and what is not covered by attorney-client privilege, they will hand over to the government.
Yes.
So the government doesn't even get to see anything, and they still don't have it. So I don't know.
It's crazy.
It's ridiculous. Cohen's lawyers are trying to say that any communications seized involving Trump are not admissible because they're protected. But as I said, the government has not even seen or gotten the evidence.
Right. They're waiting.
Right. Taint team. So Cohen was already on my fantasy indictment team, but this moves him to quarterback, really. Also, since the bombing in Syria began last night, so has the Russian disinformation campaign. The Pentagon reports that there has been, quote, there has been a 2,000% increase in Russian trolls in the last 24 hours.
Oh, my God.
Unquote. So while Mr. Trump thinks his mission is accomplished, just like George Bush, remember, mission accomplished, mission accomplished.
Stay the course.
His failure to address the attacks from Russia will ensure their continued efforts in attacking us. I hate so much that they think that the threat from Syria is so, I don't know, important or relevant that they have to send 112 missiles over there and
but
spend...
they can't do
$200 million, but he doesn't take seriously at all the threat from Russia attacking us, because he just doesn't. He's too old to understand that because it's computers, it's not dangerous.
That's our downfall right there. That's America's downfall. If we don't see that.
It's his downfall.
He's our president, unfortunately.
Yeah, but it's not our downfall.
The rest of the world is going to look at it as
it belongs to
us.
him.
We know that. I know that, and you know that. But the rest of the world is always going to blame
Then
us.
we need to make shirts or something.
We need to. We really got to make it clear.
I don't know. It really upsets me.
It does. Me too. Yeah.
All right, you guys, let's go to questions.
Oh, yeah. Bring it down a notch.
Nice.
Bound chicken. No,
nice smooth landing. Annie Goldman, who people think I am, but I'm not. At Annie Goldma 82 asked, why do I simultaneously feel pumped that Mueller's got this and that Trump will absolutely get away with numerous crimes?
Oh, no. Okay.
I feel that.
So she's pumped about Mueller.
I think what Trump will get away with are actually not crimes. Oh, no, this is what I said.
You're reading your script.
Oh, that's what my thought was. Yeah. No, but she has a legitimate point. She says, why do I feel like Mueller's got this and that Trump will get away with this shit?
Yeah, like both. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel the same way. It's a duality of feelings, and I think that, Mueller does have this in the bag, but what does it matter? Yeah.
Well, the problem is that what Trump will be charged with and what Trump will get away with are two different things. The things that Trump will be charged with are, laws that currently exist. The reason we don't have laws against what Trump has done is because it's never been done before.
Right.
So the major violations of human decency that Trump has committed will not actually be crimes. I remember talking last week about how the DOJ is starting to see collusion as a crime with Russia.
And it's a new thing.
And I'm hoping that it actually is. Because if it's not, then his only crimes are
obstruction of justice, maybe.
Right. Yeah, exactly. The thing, Computer Fraud and Abuse Act, RICO, FARA, things that that are laws. But what we have never had before is someone who's conspired with a foreign adversary to
win an election, a presidential election.
Alter an election.
That's intense. That's top level. How much higher could you get?
But what crime is that?
It's a new crime, and you know what? I'm all for making new laws. So.
And I'm hoping that Mueller sees it as such and charges, and it has to go up to the Supreme Court and is litigated and becomes a law.
How is that not espionage?
Thank you. Oh. Good point. I think it's just too broad for people to know how to interpret it sometimes. But yeah, I agree with you. It's totally espionage.
I don't know how it's not.
Yeah, I don't know how to get litigated as espionage.
I'm excited to see what the law
I almost want to go to law school.
Yeah,
I'm just this is crazy.
I'm sure there's a huge uptick right now in enrollment.
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
I want to go.
Yeah.
I've already got 86 degrees, but let's go again.
That's so true.
At Lakoti wants to know, quote, what is the confidence level that the Syrian attack was just a dog and pony show to distract us from Trump's legal issues and make it seem that Trump is not colluding with Russia? Well, remember, we coordinated with Russia so that they could get their shit out, but that's pretty normal. We don't want to engage Russia, but the simple existence of Trump as our president will give some in the global community, if not most in the global community, and here at home, the idea that this was all just a distraction. Right. Even if it wasn't, even if it was completely, even if Trump was 100% in it to win it, like just to be great and do the right thing, there will still be a perception that he did this to distract people because he is who he is.
Right.
And that is what makes him dangerous.
His character history, yeah, it's connecting dots. At a certain point, he may be the boy that cried wolf, right? He may have actually done so many bad things that by the time that he's innocent of anything, we're just not going to believe him.
Well, yeah, it's not only that, but him being who he is, it just makes it unreliable.
You're totally right. Yeah.
Oh, it sucks. Seth Taylor at Seth_Taylor asked, what are the chances Cohen rolls on someone? I love this. I'm hoping with every fiber of my being that everything that they're getting on Cohen right now, which is a lot, will cause him to roll on Trump.
Yeah.
And everyone.
Yeah, it's also not a coincidence that he announced the pardon of Scooter Libby after the raid on Cohen's office.
Mm-hmm. And that Cohen said that the FBI investigation or the raid was actually very polite and courteous and professional. So maybe all of these things are signs that Cohen has options.
I think the whole thing about exactly what you just said, Jaleesa, the fact that he's like, oh, they were so great and nice. I think he's ready to
testing
cooperate.
the waters. Yeah.
No, I think he's
just all in, diving in,
ready to cooperate.
I hope so.
I would be. Would you
please save me from this?
Even if you were a diabolical bullshit asshole thug, would you? You mean if I told the truth about this one guy, I could go free?
Mm-hmm. Is it that simple?
Fuck
it might be.
I would.
Yeah, with Mueller, it can be.
Do you really think that he's got any integrity at all?
Yeah. Not at all.
He's
Trump
loyal
is
as fuck, though.
Okay, he's loyal to.
He is loyal as fuck.
He's like, you ever watch House of Cards?
But yes,
he's like that guy that was under Underwood. What was his name again? The one that always
I don't know. But you know they told Russians to watch House of Cards.
No way.
Yeah, they did. They told Russians.
Reality is stranger than fiction, man. I can't.
They said if you want to know what to do, watch House of Cards.
There's a Putin character in House of Cards, and he's just like him. Yeah.
Well, I love that show.
Mm-hmm.
Squid Pro Crow. That's Chupacabra. He changed his name to Squid Pro Crow.
Oh my God.
Asked in a recent episode, the impeach versus indict conversation, can they do both, impeach and remove, and then prosecute for actual crimes? Yeah, of course.
Technically, will they? Will the House remove?
If the investigation is still ongoing and they get impeached within that time.
Yeah, or if he doesn't get impeached, if nothing happens to him, he can still be charged after he's a citizen unless somebody pardons him.
Mm-hmm. The end game can be the same. Yeah.
Which is why they're trying to do it in state court too, and there's plenty of state crimes that
countless
that he's broken. So, Sister Reliability asked, "quote Can you please do a live show, and can we all hang out together and cry afterwards, and then smoke up?"
Yes and yes. Hell yes.
Dude, we'll have our new sponsor do it. Are we allowed to say that yet?
Not yet.
Oh, okay, we can edit that out,
No,
or
we're
keep
not
it a
allowed.
secret.
It's a
We'll just
secret
keep
for
it a
now.
secret.
I like that.
New sponsor.
Mm-hmm.
Steven at Verbal Jungle says, quote, we talked about Schiller being the guy that threatened Stormy, but someone pointed out that she met Schiller before, and this was someone she'd never met before.
Okay.
Someone else threw out Sater, but that feels wrong. My guess is that it's someone else, but they can't discuss it because maybe he might be cooperating against Manafort.
Or it's
Cohen.
someone we haven't heard of yet.
You know what? That's a good point. I thought for sure it was Schiller, but Stormy already knew Schiller.
Exactly.
So she would have been able to identify Schiller.
Good investigative work, by the way. Who was that?
That was Steve, Verbal Jungle.
Very nice. Yeah.
That's good. Citizen Dane asked, is Michael Cohen fucked? Yes. The answer is yes.
Yeah. See a few minutes ago.
Totally.
Michael Cohen is
fucked.
This is great. This is my new favorite thing.
I loved your ending. Fucked.
Little cherry on top.
At Samira LV says, quote, we have heard that Mueller isn't going to interview the president anymore. Is this more or less indicative that Mueller will recommend impeachment for obstruction? And if Rosenstein agrees and sends it to Congress, will he be more or less likely to be fired? Well, first of all, he has to send it to Congress.
No matter what, yeah.
By law, Mueller has to turn it into Rosenstein, and by law, Rosenstein has to inform the four, the Gang of Eight, or not the Gang of Eight, the four majority and four minority leaders of the House Judiciary, Senate Judiciary, House Intelligence, and Senate Intelligence.
Exactly.
Those four people have to know about it.
Now, will
not
the
an
report
option.
include an indictment? I think at this point, it's not. We can't
No, it's a
say if
recommendation for impeachment.
Right. So it's kind of hard to say if this changed, if him not being interviewed makes a difference, because I think Mueller was going to do what he was going to do regardless. Right. That's what I would hope. So yeah, I don't think Trump not doing the interview changes that end game. And I think it's likely that he could just pull it all off and still indict him or still recommend that impeachment for the groups.
Well, he's about to recommend.
You think he's like
impeachment for
super
obstruction.
close? Like,
I
do
think
you
this
feel
month.
it in your loins?
Gird your loins. Yeah, I think it's this month.
Wow.
If Rosenstein agrees to send it to Congress, which he has to, not full Congress, but the four. Mm-hmm. And they asked if he does send it to Congress, will he be more likely to be fired or less likely? I think he'd be less likely to be fired.
I think more.
Once you send that shit over to Congress, then firing him is more of an obstruction of justice.
But the GOP doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah, but it's more of an obstruction of justice
You're
than
right.
less.
Would they dig a deeper hole? I think so.
Would they dig a deeper hole?
Dig a deeper hole.
Dig a deeper.
WikiLeaks. Yeah.
WikiLeaks. Wikistrat.
The Purveyor asked, quote, assuming Mueller recommends impeachment and the GOP-controlled House passes it, can that be brought up again after the next election if the Dems take the House, or does the president get like a no double jeopardy thing?
Oh,
I don't know.
That's a very good
I don't think
question.
double jeopardy applies to impeachment.
Really?
Or any.
It's not a general legal thing?
No, it's not a. It's
just
not
for
a
what?
trial.
So if there's no trial, then he's good.
congressional. No, it's a congressional.
Okay.
I'm going to ask.
We got to look that up. We got to ask
Jordan
our,
Parker.
our
Jordan
lawyer
Parker.
friend. Yeah.
Well, that's Jordan Parker. Oh. Pavivas, Pavivas. What? Pavivas says, quote, thanks for all you do, and let's bring the orangutan down.
Yes. By the way, orangutans, nothing wrong with them. But yes, Trump is an animal. Like in the very negative sense, not in the neutral.
Do we have to protect ourselves against? Are people
I
going to
think
hate on
so.
us for saying orangutans?
For our
Jesus
monkey
Christ.
fans out
We
there.
get to the place. We get to the place where like, sorry, no, we love orangutan love. Hashtag orangutan love. At Yegerman asked, quote, do you think Priebus gave up Cohen? No.
Okay.
I think Cohen gave up Cohen.
Yeah, good point.
really.
But yeah, Priebus would
I think
have.
Priebus will corroborate some shit.
Exactly.
As the mole.
Mole.
Stephen, 68 says, you crew rock. Keep it up and thank you. Also, best opening soundbite montage ever. 5 stars.
Yay.
Nice. Well, AG
Thank
thought
you.
of that idea and I whipped it up. But yes.
Yep, that was my vision. It was executed by our friend Julissa.
Thank you very much.
Hell yeah.
Ian Harvey. Oh, God, I love Ian so much.
Ian's the man.
He asked, quote, after the Cohen raid, if the FBI comes across shit unrelated to Stormy Daniels, can they turn it back over to Mueller? Absolutely.
Oh, yes.
Actually, I think they have to. And they haven't looked at it yet, but everything they get from Cohen, if the taint team, taint team, that should be the new X-Men.
We got to get a theme song, yeah.
If the taint team, after they go through everything and they turn over everything that's not attorney-client privilege, and they give it over, and then they, give it to the feds, and then the feds look at it and they go, shit, 30% of this has to do with Russia. I think they have to turn it back over to Mueller.
Exactly.
Or it would just be the best thing.
Right. It would only make sense. I don't see why they wouldn't.
Alexander FMR said, quote, Je vous adore. I love your podcast.
Yay.
I don't speak French. I
do speak French.
Is it Je vous adore?
Yeah, je vous adore.
Oh, thank you.
Very nice, Jordan.
Ich liebe dich. Auf
Is that
Deutsch.
German?
Ich sprach
Oh.
Deutsch.
French fries. Yeah.
French fries. French dressing. And to drink Peru. Anyway, she loves our podcast. Thank you.
Thank you.
Alexandra. The Deep Magic wants to know why I have so much faith in the Romney 9. This is a good question.
Yeah.
I don't have faith in the Romney 9 at all whatsoever. I'm just hoping. I'm just hoping that Romney gets in there and turns 8 other people around that can
Get the
remove
numbers we
Trump.
need.
Does he not
Yeah.
have anyone yet?
Oh, well, there's plenty of people in the Senate who hate Trump.
Yeah,
Right, but he's
and
not the
GOP
official
people
9,
too.
yeah.
But
We
if
need
he wins and he goes in and his whole deal is to get 9 people to
Then,
vote him out.
And all he has to do is leverage some big policy move that would be really beneficial to all their reelections. And then we don't
Absolutely.
have them anymore.
Absolutely. Or not. I mean, it could just be like, don't be a dick and, do this thing.
That's a nice campaign slogan.
Don't be a dick. JC Doulos 1 wants to know if we have peace of mind that the FBI raided Cohen.
Not yet, but it's getting there, right?
He says it seems that because this is a separate investigation, Trump is screwed. Even if Trump fired Rosenstein or Mueller, the FBI investigation will continue, correct?
Yeah. Even if Mueller's fired, he has other people, too, that continue on the Mueller investigation.
They're splitting it up. And I think that was Rosenstein and Mueller's whole point. Was like, whatever's not about Trump, Russia, let's send over here.
Delegate
and
it.
whatever is, it's not even delegate. It's hand off to the appropriate
department
investigators.
Fair enough. Yeah.
We don't want to be viewed as someone who's investigating shit we don't. That's outside of our scope, even though it's within our scope. Totally, 100%.
Right. He can't do everything. I
don't know. Finally, at Cage23 wants to know, quote, when exactly did we cross into the mirror universe, and how are we going to get back without a spore drive?
She a Rick and Morty fan?
Look, easy. Pull a retcon to reset the old canon by traveling back in time. Of course, you can create two alternative timelines, one in which we don't exist at all by altering major events like Tasha Yar and yesterday's Enterprise or the City on the Edge of Forever, where they had to kill Edith Keeler or return to their existence. But I think people from the reset timelines can still exist. And, in the reset in the first J.J. Abrams movie is a good example of that. So slingshot around the sun, bro. Anyway, that's our show.
I like that a lot.
I just want to let you know that's, time travel's a thing.
Yeah, that was very creative and beautiful.
Thank you. Guys, that's our show. I've been AG.
I've been Jaleesa Johnson.
I'm Jordan Coburn.
Thanks for listening. This is Mueller, She Wrote. Mueller, She Wrote is produced and engineered by AG, with editing and logo design by Jaleesa Johnson. Market consulting by Amanda Reeder and Unicorn Creative. Our digital media director and subscriber manager is Jordan Coburn. Fact-checking and research by AG, with support from Jaleesa Johnson and Jordan Coburn. Mueller, She Wrote is written by AG, Jaleesa Johnson, Jordan Coburn, Sarah Hirschberger Valencia, and Sarah Lee Steiner. Our web design and branding is by Joel Reeder with Moxie Design Studios. And our website is MuellerSheWrote.com.